And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another round of the Bandit Racing League's 9th season, presented on Full Send Racing Network. That is the channel you have stumbled across. And, well, hopefully, if you're tuning in tonight, you've been tuning in for the rest of what has been a really great season so far. And, well, tonight we hope to add yet another chapter to that, awesome kind of legacy we've built up for ourselves this season. I think it has been really an overall really stellar year from top to bottom. And I've enjoyed every second of it. And, well, tonight is going to be a fun one. It's the final round of the first round of the Bandit Racing League Season 9 playoffs, meaning that, well, at the moment we have a total of 18 drivers, and that number is about to get taken down to 8. So it's a big night. It's a big night for a number of reasons. First of all, you'll probably notice something on screen as soon as I tune into this graphic here. Happy 21st birthday to our very own. He's not here tonight, unfortunately. It'll be another solo broadcast booth kind of night, but I think I'm going to have a little bit more to work with this week. I think it'll be a fun race, and I'll be here alongside you guys to walk you through it every step of the way. I am, of course, Marshall Crocker Jr., the guy that runs Full Send Racing Network. I started in this series at the beginning of Season 8 as a commentator, and I have since taken over broadcast duties because, well, Evan is often busy with school-related stuff, as am I, but just on Wednesdays, I have a little bit more free time, and unfortunately he won't be here with us tonight, but hopefully next week, and if not, we have some backup plans in the works for some co-commentators for the rest of our season, because we're getting to the end. These races are a big deal, and we got to make sure we're giving them their full due. So there is Evan. Happy 21st birthday, and we'll be sure to put this graphic up a number of times just to highlight that there. But well, before we get too into this week's race, last week's race, do the race recap. You guys know how the intro goes. Speaking of intro, we played the little intro video there I made at the beginning of the season again, and hopefully it's good to see that again. I haven't played it in quite a while, so if you're new to the channel and you're new to the broadcast, there's something a little different. Not sure if you hear sirens in the background, but gotta love Toronto, Ontario, Canada. There's always plenty of those. So with that being said, it is time to talk about your race sponsor tonight. And tonight's sponsor for tonight's race is the driver of the number 92 truck. That is Tony Hilbrands. He's actually pretty confident tonight at Pocono, so he could definitely be a name that wins and punches himself a ticket into the round of 8. So a big night for him in multiple capacities. But tonight we are at the Where's Turn 470, presented by Velocity Racing League, the VRL, and such a fun sponsor name. That's one I'm going to have some fun with tonight, so always appreciate these kind of quirky sponsors. And, well, where is Turn 4? It's a very good question, but we'll talk about that throughout the race tonight. But, yeah, presented by Velocity Racing League. We have here their schedule for 2022, and, yeah, essentially, as I'm sure you realize, they are a different sim league than us. We are, of course, the Bandit Racing League, and absolutely not rivals. Many of the drivers in this series run over there in perpetuity. Tony, of course, the most obvious one, but our very own Nick Nickerson has run in the series a couple of times. Aaron Smith, who you guys might remember from the beginning of this year. Unfortunately, he didn't follow through with the rest of the season, but early on, he was an absolute force to be reckoned with, and the Velocity Racing League is the series he traditionally calls his home. So it's a really fun league, and this is more so a plug for drivers. If any of you out there are interested in a really great opportunity, a really great racing series that, based on what I understand, has great competitive racing, especially at the road courses. I've heard there are a lot of great road course talents over there, including, of course, Aaron Smith, who was great in our series this season. So if you're interested, if you're a driver who wants to check it out and you want a kind of different opportunity, of course, the Bandit Racing League is, we're past our recruitment for this current season, but the next season, season 10, actually, of the Bandit Racing League, that'll be a big one. We'll be opening up registration for that as well. The Velocity Racing League runs on a different night. I believe it runs on Mondays, but let me just double check, make sure I got that right. So I'm giving you guys all the right information. But yeah, Monday nights, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, so a little bit early. They're going to be running the Gen 4 NASCAR, so that being the ARCA car in modern day NASCAR. It's actually a full 36 race series. I think it's meant to largely mimic, if not entirely mimic, well, pretty close, because Sebring, Lakeland, there's some different tracks there that NASCAR doesn't currently run, but there is their schedule. So if you want to check them out, you can absolutely do so. And if you're a driver and you're looking for a different racing opportunity, and in addition to the Bandit Racing League, if you want to go find something else and try something new, that is where you go. So thank you to Tony Hilbrands. Thank you to the VRL for sponsoring tonight's event. And the Where's Turn 470 at Pocono Raceway, the finale of the opening round of the 2021 9th season of the Bandit Racing League. See, it's always the series name. It's always the part that I slip up on. But very quickly, before we get on to your race recap and do the rest of your traditional pre-race ceremonies, as you can see, we have 4 minutes left in practice, and there is your scrolling ticker of all of the current positionings and practice, I should say. It is a big track. It's largely based on slipstreams in the draft, so they're not going to be entirely telling as to where guys are going to be in tonight's event, but it's definitely a good start. Definitely kind of tells you a little bit about who knows the slipstream, who knows the track, who's going to handle the corners well. And as you'll see when we talk about the actual track itself, there are some tricky corners here at this 2.5 mile track. So it'll be fun. Very quickly before we get too far, I want to plug, as I always do, where is the logo? It's hard to see. It's a black t-shirt, and the logo kind of blends in there. There's the logo. The big logo's in the back. I kind of like shirts where the major logo was in the back, and I like a lot of shirts where you kind of got the name tag here, but unfortunately it's just hard to see with the way I sit and the way the camera sits. So I got some merch here, and as always, Bandit merch. Check it out here. We got it on the website down below, banditracingleague.com/bandit swag. The link, as always, will be in the description. There's again another little zip through of all the items we got there. More stuff has gone up. We got Full Send Racing Network stuff just like this. The same t-shirt. You can get it in orange. Now I believe you can get it with the logo on the front. Entirely up to you. But we got general Bandit stuff. If you're a fan of one of the GFR racing drivers, I believe they're the only two we currently have driver merch for. But as you'll see here on screen right now, we have the driver roster shirt, which I think is something really fun. I think it's definitely more, I think, appealing to those of you who are looking for a specific driver. You're looking to have them wrapped, but we just haven't got around to them for individual merch yet about their particular branding. So that is where you want to go. Go check it out. The prices, again, as they always are, almost identical to what it costs to manufacture. So it's really just to give you guys the option and to have you guys get something you can use to rep the league and really just, you guys take time out of your week every week on Wednesday. And we'd imagine that maybe you guys would want something to show for it and something to show off if you got a friend or a family member, or even if you're a driver in the series, just something to go for. That's where to look. Everything comes in a variety of colors. We got mugs as well, face masks, glasses, all matter of things. And actually, speaking of glasses, one more time, they haven't been a sponsor since the triple header, but every week I use my Rogue Energy glass. I got courtesy of Rogue Energy. They were an older sponsor of the series, but we love them because they help us out every week, and they were massive in that triple header. That was such a cool thing we got to do with them. So I'll shout that out as well, Rogue Energy, and they got me a sweet glass. But it's similar, almost identical there on the Bandit Racing League site, just obviously with Bandit branding. So it's a good product. I promise you it'll be good. Check it out, and that is about my part of that spiel. So that being said, we are through. Time to talk about racing, and we got 1 minute left to go before the end of practice. So qualifying is going to start momentarily. But with that, we got to go to your race recap. We got to talk about last week's event at Watkins Glen, your final road course of the season. And presented by Perfect Shine Auto Spa, here is your race recap for the 30th of Glen, presented by Bandit Racing League at Watkins Glen, the final road course event of the season. Your pole sitter, you could probably take a guess. It was Nick Nickerson, current points leader, defending champion, and what an event he had for himself. Early on, it was Brett Guzik, the hard charger in the 04 truck. You see him here making a move on the sliding. Curtis Yancey got a little bit loose out of that backstretch bus stop, and he did an almost identical move just a quick second later on Ricky Hart Jr. in the 64. Brett was moving early, but speaking of moves in the top 5, Cody Welch and Ashley Molino duked it out here, coming through the S's there in turns number 2 and 3, and up towards that backstretch bus stop again. Brett Guzik would set it 3 wide, would back out as you'll see here, but Ashley would just send it down to the apex, get the move done, and Brett would pick off Cody in the background as well, who got a little bit loose on entry. So an exciting double move there, position swapping all over the place. Now Cody later in the event trying to get that spot back there on Ashley, making his way through a couple of lap trucks. There you see Trey Ellis in front that he's trying to get by, or sorry, that's Ashley Molino who was trying to get by Trey Ellis, and she would get a little bit loose trying to make the move, and that would be all Cody Welch needed. That was his opportunity. He'd skate right by, and he would continue on his merry way home to a podium. But you see there, Ashley, in her attempt to get Cody back, to chase him down, just gets loose there in the carousel corner, slides out to the outside wall, and bounces off. Took a little bit of damage, but would come home, as you see there on the left on the timing tower, for a 6th place. But a dominant drive. There was no doubt about it from start to finish. Nick Nickerson was looking for his 2nd win of the round and his 8th win of the season. He picked up the win at Watkins Glen. And for the first time, and I believe series history, he does sweep the road courses on the season. What a job by Nick. What a race. And certainly one of the quicker ones I think we've ever done. I think the broadcast in its entirety was about an hour and a half, so certainly flew by. But there are the points after the 18th round of the season at Watkins Glen. So still only 2 drivers officially punched into the round of 8 in the playoffs, those being Nick Nickerson and Benjamin Lacy, both of whom have won. Nick at 2 tracks and Benjamin just at Dover. And Brett Guzik, Cody Welch at 130 and 127. They are both respectively 39 and 36 points above the cutoff. They are both comfortably in, I will say that much. We do not have 36 drivers in tonight's field, so Guzik and Welch, congratulations, you are through to the next round. So make that 4, but they just aren't on the graphic because we didn't know the turnout for tonight's race. But Ricky Hart, Tony Hilbrands, Kevin Foster, all looking good, sitting about 15 plus points above the cutoff line. So they're in a good spot. I'm pretty confident that they will find their way through, provided they don't get in any serious wrecks and any serious incidents. But really, it's going to be those final 2 spots in the playoffs, either a spot taken by a driver who wins tonight. So remember, any driver below that cutoff line can win the race tonight, and they're automatically punched in. Their ticket to the round of 8 is punched. So forget the points at that point. It's just about the win. But the final spot in that cutoff line will be determined by whoever is in that kind of 91 and 90 range. The 85, Curtis Yancey, 83 for Brandon Jackson. Mark Allen Bivens is in the vicinity. That is going to be a really interesting spot to watch tonight. And especially if one of those guys in the 108, 107, 105 vicinity gets in a wreck and takes themselves out of contention. So tonight is all to play for. And again, the top 8 will make it to the round of 8. And really, of course, if you're any driver here in the Bandit Racing League, you want to go as far as you can. I mean, you want to go for the championship. You want to go big, and you want to prove yourself. But sometimes I think for drivers, it's just going to be appealing to know that you've made it to the round of 8. You've effectively, statistically proven yourself as one of the top 8 drivers in the series, and I'd imagine that's a pretty appealing prospect for some guys. So tonight could be huge, whether they intend to go for the championship or reasonably believe they'll go for the championship or not. Tonight is just a proving ground. It's a chance to prove that you are one of the best in the Bandit Racing League. Speaking of one of the best, Michael Ramos momentarily there went number 1 on the leaderboard, but now that spot has been taken over by Nick Nickerson in the 2 truck. Here he comes down the straightaway through 1 and 2, heading down towards turn 2. And we'll talk more about Pocono. It's a really fun track, and it's really one you got to see from a different angle, from a little bit further out. But here is turn 2. Nick is on his second flying attempt, and what a season it's been so far. Tonight could be win number 10, and that is just absurd to think. But he's had 2 in the round already, and one more I'm sure wouldn't hurt for him. So that's absolutely flying right now. We got 2 Zooks in the top 5, getting flashbacks to that one race. I think it might have been Michigan where they teamed up and just flew through the pack. Matt Crocker will improve to 15th, but we do need to do a quick reset on the graphics there because they are not updating. But Nick does not improve, but Brett Guzik does. Brett Guzik is going to move up a couple of tenths. Tony Hilbrand's, here he comes, driver of the number 92 truck, and he's genuinely going to be somebody to watch out for tonight because, well, he's talked about in the past how good he is at Pocono. He's already in the top 5 in points in this round, so somebody to watch out for. I'm feeling good about Tony Hilbrand's tonight, and could potentially be a dark horse pick to go for the win, and again, a playoff driver tonight going to be very important for him. So get a reset there. There you go. All the lovely driver numbers are now displayed. So it's Nickerson, Guzik, Michael Ramos, a playoff cutoff driver, who I believe is sitting exactly 1 point below the cutoff. Tonight is going to be big for him. But Hilbrand's, and then the 2 Zooks. I believe that in order is Connor and then Cale Zook. Honorable mention, I think Andrew Zook is here as well, currently 22nd on the leaderboard. So 3 Zooks in this approximately 27 truck field, which is about 11%. So not a bad portion of the overall numbers. But here comes Hilbrand's crossing the line. Will he improve? He will not. He's going to stay forward. Oh, he does improve. Oh, up by 900ths of a second, up to 3rd. So goes from the outside to the inside of the front or the second row. Probably not a bad place to be. Good effort for the number 92 truck. Kevin Foster, the Houston, Texas native, in the number 8, who's had a stellar season so far. Again, kind of flown under the radar, but he is going to be a guy to watch. Brandon Jackson comes across the line there in his 99 truck. He's going to go 9th. So I think Brandon's the kind of guy that's going to be well suited to Pocono's kind of style as a racetrack, and very high-speed corners. Going to be important to think about tire wear. So I think he's got a good chance tonight. Definitely somebody who could really use a win at this point. Currently sitting about 7 or 8 points below the cutoff. So he's not really out of the realm, but does certainly need to have a good result tonight if he wants to make his way into the round of 8. And remember, he was 3rd overall in the championship last year. He was a final round contender. So no, he wasn't. He was 5th overall. I believe he was the first driver to miss the final round. So he came darn close, and certainly I think he'd be disappointed to not make the round of 8 this year to follow up that effort. I know he doesn't like the trucks, but it's Brandon Jackson. He's a talented guy. We always hope for the best for him, and I know he's got a lot of fans out there. So we wish Brandon the very best of luck, or at least I do. And I wish all these drivers the very best of luck. I hope everybody always has fun, always has a good time, and we get some good racing out of it. But there we go. Qualifying has now concluded for tonight's Where's Turn 4 70 at Pocono Raceway. So let's take down your ticking tower and get ready for tonight's starting grid here at Pocono. On the front row, Nick Nickerson does it again for GFR Racing, the number 2 truck. That's got to be like pole 10 or 11 of the year. Just what a year it's been for him. Alongside him on the front row, it's going to be Brett Guzik tonight, comfortably in. Again, I would confidently say that he has locked himself in based on the overall points. And yes, I can now officially confirm Brett Guzik is into the round of 8. So tonight he's just going for the win. Could get his 2nd of the season tonight at Pocono. Next, behind him on the inside of row 2, Tony Hilbrand's. Like I talked about earlier, He's feeling good about Pocono. He's talked about that in the past, and he could use it tonight. He's above the playoff cutoff, but you know he wants to make his way into the round of 8. On his outside, Michael Ramos as well, just below the cutoff. Tonight could be a big race for him as well, the 27 truck. Remember, a win, and he doesn't have to worry about the points at all. So you got to think that's what he'll be going for from the outside of row 2. It's an all-Zook third row. Connor Zook alongside Cale Zook there in 5th and 6th, respectively. Let's see if those guys can team up tonight as they have in the past. Eddie Hagge will start in the 7th spot. Christopher Ferrara in 8th. Both guys there are playoff contenders. Cody Welch, you know his story this season, has come close, so many times. Had a third last week at Watkins and a great performance. Let's see if he can do it again. He'll be starting on the inside of row number 5. Alongside Brandon Jackson, you know him, Action Jackson. Gotta love him, and let's see what he can do in tonight's event. And again, a track I think will suit his particular skill set. After that, we got Kevin Foster alongside Jason Greenwell, both playoff drivers in their own right. Then it's Benny Hogan alongside Gary D. Moore Jr., or just Gary Moore, I believe it shows on the timing tower, driving a really nice 89 truck there. Canadian Joshua McQuiggan will start in the 15th spot alongside playoff driver Curtis Yancey, who is actually, I believe, just below. I think he's the second driver below the cutoff after Michael Ramos. He needs to earn some points tonight. Let's see if he can do it at Pocono. After that, it is Joshua McQuiggan we already talked about. Ricky Hart there will be starting in the 17th spot alongside Connor Sawyer there. And we got Bill Harkins, Matt Crockett there, the two guys who put this league together primarily. It is the 11 and the 10 of Matt Crockett. Then a playoff contender, the first winner of this season, and the Hunt Brothers Pizza number 4 truck. He is starting in 21st on the inside of Mark Allen Bivens, another playoff contender, the youngest driver in the playoffs, and what a win it would be for him tonight. He's proven quick in the past at those longer tracks, the super speedways and tracks similar to Pocono, so let's see if he can do it again tonight. David Lakey starts alongside Andrew Zook after that. Then it's Terry Condis and John Graham on row number, I believe, 13. Then to round off the field, it is Steve Ulrich in the 25 truck alongside Gary Wright in the number 6. And Travis Smith, who is in the session and is technically on the grid, will not be starting on lap 1. And that is your field. We are ready to go. Nickerson, Guzik, Hilbrands, Ramos, and Connor Zook, your top 5 to start tonight's event here at Pocono. It's going to be a fun one. Make sure you have the edge of your seat firmly fastened, because this is going to be an insane race. I promise you here. The tricky triangle. Let's go at Pocono. The final round of the round of 18. The first round of the Bandit Racing League playoffs, and we are off. Nickerson leads the field of green, not getting a great jump considerably compared to the drivers around him. Hilbrand's right on his back bumper coming down to turn number 1. Guzik and Ramos up there on the high side. Can Ramos find a way past in the very first turn, or is he just going to settle in? Hilbrand's already making a little bit of progress. Tony Hilbrand's down to the inside there of Nick Nickerson. In the background, Connor Zook and Cale Zook teaming up already, kind of getting into a bit of a line there on the outside. But down to the inside there, it is Hilbrand's side by side with Brett Guzik. Could be a fun little battle here early on. Guys, I think are going to try to take advantage of, good track position, try to move up to the front of the line, might even conserve fuel early on in tonight's event. But we're single file through turn number 2 the first time by, and a little bit of wiggling around, but for the most part, we are pretty safe as we get through turn number 2. Down into turn number 3, we are still relatively single file for the most part. Cody Welch already up 1 spot there from 9th to 8th, getting the move done on the 13 of Christopher Ferrara. So Cody Welch, who was also punched in on points to next round, well, you know, he's still going for that first win of the season, so don't be surprised if he makes some big moves tonight. But for the time being, just single file at the moment, everybody kind of getting into a big groove. And, well, the first guy I see on the inside the line there is Brandon Jackson looking underneath Christopher Ferrara, who's going to lose another spot. So the 13 truck down 2 spots at the very end of lap number 1. Christopher's a guy that has found pace at the end of races quite often. He's somebody that really hangs in there and can be a real big threat late. So don't be surprised if he still comes away with a good points a good points finish. But Greenwell and Yancey side by side, 2 guys both below the playoff cutoff. Tonight is huge for both of them, trying to make forward progress here early on in tonight's event. Side by side through turn 2. Yancey's got the inside line, should get the spot, and he is going to slide in front. So Curtis Yancey in the 51 truck now up to 13th. He's already up 3 spots there on lap 1. Same with Joshua McQuiggan in the 29. He is up 3 spots from the start of the race. Cody Welch has moved past Eddie Hagge as well. He's to the inside of Eddie Hagge in turn number 3. Down the front stretch we go. Fun little battle here. Better run off the outside of the corner for Eddie Hagge. Might even get some help here from Brandon Jackson, who might be pushing him. So Eddie Hagge hanging in there, fighting. And the 97 truck holds on to that spot, heading down to turn number 1. Brandon's going to slide in behind, but doesn't get the move done. So Cody Welch now going to lose a spot there to Brandon Jackson in that attempt for forward progress. And that's really going to be a big story of tonight's race, is making a move is really risky here at a track like this, where the draft is so key, and one push from another driver and suddenly you find yourself way back in the field. So yeah, don't be surprised if you see guys a little bit more gun shy here early in the race about making big moves. And I mean, that's going to be boring for a little bit. It's kind of similar to a super speedway if that is the case, but I promise you the end of this race is going to be nuts. And just because Nick has held on to the lead for, well, coming up to 3 laps now, that is not going to last all too long. So side by side a little bit with Brett Guzik. Brett kind of peeking to the inside there through turn number 3, but does not get the move done. So Nick Nickerson, 3rd lap in a row, will lead here at Pocono. So a 70-lap event here, each lap taking about 1 minute approximately. So it's going to be about just over an hour, maybe hour and a half with cautions. Should be a decently long race, but I feel like it's going to be flying by for these drivers, especially if we stay green as we have so far. So just a reminder, it's Nickerson, Guzik, Hilbrands, Ramos, your top 4, all playoff drivers. And then again, we got to talk about these Zooks. They're trying to team up again. We've talked about them in the past, but Connor Zook and Cale Zook, 2 guys that have proven in the past, whether it be having their own voice chat, which I believe they do, or just some sort of brotherly connection. They are making it work here. And yeah, still sitting 5th and 6th, comfortably ahead of 7th place Eddie Hagge, but at the same time, not quite up to the back bumper of Michael Ramos, who's got a little bit of ground on him. So actually, Cale kind of peeking to the inside. Connor's going to throw a tiny bit of a block on him, but well, maybe not quite as much teamwork as we're suspecting here early on in tonight's event. Remember, neither of these guys are in the playoffs, just didn't run enough of the season, so no real point in going for anything but the win tonight. So, whoa, look at in the background. Who is that? I think it was, who in the world? Terry Condis. Did anybody see that in the background? The 32 truck doing a massive pirouette there on the exit of turn number 3. Let's go back and get a replay on that. Just absolute chaos there. First caution of the night, and it involves Terry Condis and I believe to some extent Gary Wright. Let's get a replay on this coming out of turn 3. So there is Condis in the 32 truck, that Ford entry. Gary Wright on the top side. He just absolutely cleaned him out. I think he just overreacted to coming off the wall. Thought he was a little bit closer than he was, and just like that, iRacing physics, as they often do, just absolutely sending a truck on its lid here. Let's see that one more time. So the 32 truck off of turn 3. There's the 96 in the background. John Graham, he did manage to avoid it. Just hooked him. I mean, there was a little bit of netcode there, and then the 32 caught a wall and did a massive random flip out of nowhere. But yeah, just a weird moment. Yeah, I think it was partial overreaction there on the part of Gary Wright. Just got a little bit too loose off the corner. But yeah, genuinely quite a bit of netcode there between the two drivers. Just to clarify, netcode is in racing when the sim gets a little bit confused on the positioning of cars. So contact is made when perhaps there wouldn't otherwise have been contact. So that was kind of unusual. Just realized that we've had the wrong audio in the background. It's been background music to this point, not proper race audio. So there you go. Now you can hear the lovely hum of the trucks, and we are about good to go. Yeah, that was extremely bizarre. So kind of a weird moment there, but holy cow, the chat is going crazy there. Just thought I'd check in with you guys and see how everybody's doing tonight on this lovely Wednesday evening. But yeah, holy cow, let's just read through this. I think we got a couple of real series drivers. Yeah, James Hartley is there in the chat. Shout out to James, and we got some birthday messages for Evan there. Thank you sincerely to everybody, and I know Evan would really appreciate it. Hopefully he's watching out there somewhere, and if he's got time, but go and have some fun birthday festivities, Evan. We're always hoping for people to have great birthdays here on the Bandit Racing League. If it's ever your birthday for a race, any actual driver watching this back, just give me a shout. Let me know on Discord, and I will make it happen. So yeah, pretty good green flag stint early on in the event. I mean, one kind of fluke mistake there is the only reason that we do have a caution so far. So I'm confident tonight will be a relatively green flag affair, and we are already 7 laps in here as we cross this time in a 70-lap race. We're going to see early pit stops here. No, that is the 2 truck faking out the guys behind him, though. Tony Hilbrands does commit to the pits, so the 92 truck coming down pit road for the first time. And again, he loves Pocono. He's got experience here, so maybe he knows something we don't. He is, again, tonight's race sponsor, so go check out the Velocity Racing League. We got links in the description below if you're a driver and you want to inquire about it on iRacing. There is Brandon Jackson here coming down pit road as well. Benny Hogan in the 88 truck is on pit road. Andrew Zook coming to his box as well. Trey Ellis, playoff contender in the Ford truck. Tonight needs to be a big night for him, and this could be the start of his rise to the top. Kevin Foster on pit road as well. Here comes the 8 truck. And John Graham, Gary Wright, Steve Ulrich all. Steve Ulrich was not, but both Wright and Graham were involved in that last wreck. So there you go. That is about the lay of the land here after our very first caution of the night. We're going to go to a quick side-by-side now for just a moment, as we're going to do a couple times tonight, just because single commentator booth tonight, and we're going to have a couple of quick cautions. So, the cautions here at Pocono can take a little bit just because they're longer tracks. So we're going to go to a very brief side-by-side commercial break. And, well, as we often do here on the commercials, we're going to go to a specific driver's car and maybe drive along in cockpit for a little bit just to, get used to the track, see kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? The scenery in the background, that's it, and just kind of just get to know Pocono a little bit. It's a beautiful track. You can see in the background some really nice scenery, some cool houses and things of that nature. So we're going to go on board actually with Matt Crocker. We're going to go to a side-by-side shot with him, and we'll chill on the front nose of the 10 track, and when we get back, we'll do our track preview here for tonight's race at Pocono Raceway. There we go, just a quick break here as we, again, single commentator booth, got to take a couple breaks every once in a while just to, make sure you're watered up and good to go. It is going to be a lot of action tonight, and I want to make sure I'm properly prepared and can give this race the utmost, there's the word we're looking for, the utmost quality that it deserves. So we are ready to go. Nick Nickerson, your leader here, coming to the second green flag start of the race. Your first off a restart. The pace track about to take the left-hander onto pit road, and we are ready to go there. You see Brett Guzik on the outside. Second row is Ramos alongside Connor Zook and Cale Zook. We've had a driver pit and move back further in the field, that being Tony Hilbrand. So going to shake up the top four a little bit. On the inside of row number 3 is Cale Zook. Again, keep an eye on those Zooks here, but we are ready to go. The pace track going to take the left-hander onto pit road momentarily. There he goes. Nickerson, the control truck. Nickerson, Guzik, Ramos, and the two Zooks. Your top 5. Here we go. Green flag at Pocono for the Wares Turn 470. Presented by Velocity Racing League. Down to the first turn. Side by side go Guzik and Ramos for second place. Michael Ramos might be thinking about a shot up into the top 2 there. He's to the inside. The 27 truck gets it done. Uses that inside line to his advantage. The third place truck appears to be so far having better luck than the guy in third most of the time. So this is going to be interesting to watch going forward, but might have a flyby here from the trucks down to turn number 2. There they go. That was probably very loud. We're not going to use that camera angle too much more, but still Ramos to the inside. Welch in the background making some progress. Cody Welch up to 5th. Gets by Connor Zook there. So the two Zooks swap. Now the 44 truck is in the back bumper of Michael Ramos. Brett Guzik makes the move up into second. Nick Nickerson up the road trying to break away a little bit. About a half-second gap to Brett Guzik there. You see a little ways down the road, but this is the battling we're talking about. Coming off of turn number 3. 1 lap into the current stint. Side by side went a couple tracks a little ways further back. Matt Crockett, I think, is pulling out a line, trying to make something happen back there. But Welch, this might be his opportunity on Cale Zook here. Going for 4th, making considerable progress early in tonight's event. Might be the biggest mover, I believe he is. No, Ricky Hart has made up 5 spots. Actually, Andrew Zook has made up 6. No move right now. But Cody, what a run off the corner. Gets blocked by the 44, but he has enough momentum to dive back down below. I think it was a nice block attempt by the 44, but too much momentum to try to keep behind him. So there goes Welch. Cody Welch up into the 4th spot, and the forward progress continues. You got to wonder once again, is this the night for that number 85 truck to get win number 1 in his first this season since Rockingham last year in Season 8? Could this be the night? A little ways further back, just battles everywhere. Curtis Yancey's peeking on the inside of Eddie Hagge, who gets checked up by the 55 of Connor Zook. That'll give the 51 truck his opportunity down past the front nose of the 97 there. So Curtis Yancey, who also needs to make some progress tonight, up 9 spots, up into 7th. We know he's quick on those short runs. We know in the past he's traditionally been, well, he's not afraid to use up more tires than other drivers, but he's so darn quick, it's not much of a problem. So interesting to see how different drivers' kind of personalities, their racing styles are going to come into play tonight at a race like Pocono. I think it is really going to showcase everybody's different abilities. Speaking of which, here comes the 3 of Connor Sawyer. Very similar to move to what we saw just a moment ago with Welch. Getting blocked by Cale Zook, but just having too good of a run off the corner. So playoff driver Connor Sawyer down to the inside of fellow playoff driver Ricky Hart. Down to the inside through turn number 2. He might slide up a little bit, so he's going to have to check up. He does. Has to make sure that he doesn't get into Ricky Hart. So the 64 has more momentum off the corner. The 3 truck going to try to slide in on the inside down to turn 3. Almost peeks the nose down on the 64, but this might be Mark Allen Bivens' opportunity there. The 76 truck, remember, the youngest driver in the playoffs, but what a year he's had. Down to the outside, he's been good historically at these faster tracks like Pocono, so 76 truck riding in the slipstream on the number 64 and does get the move done. So Mark Allen Bivens up 8 spots in tonight's event, up into 4th. Side by side is Gary Moore alongside, that is Joshua McQuiggan here. So the Canadian and the American duking it out. Moore is going to get the better of him, so up into the 11th spot, and now McQuiggan gets to regroup and try to go at him once again. A little ways further up in the field, though, this battle continues between Zook and Welch, and we got Ramos right in front of it, holding it up. A little ways up front, Brett Guzik making some forward progress. He's catching Nick Nickerson, so the battle for the lead could ramp up in just a moment. But right now here, this is where you want to be looking. So everybody from 3rd all the way down to about, say, about 9th spot is all kind of in one big long line here. So really, it is going to be a question of how much forward progress can you make. And once you get up to the front of this little train we got going here, do you have enough flat-out pace to make up ground on the 2 guys ahead? And right now, Brett Guzik appears to be the only guy able to challenge Nick Nickerson. Again, you see here, making progress. He's not too far back from the number 2 truck, but you know, we know Nick is a guy who's good at conservation. He thinks big picture, and you know, there's always a chance that the Brett's using up a little more tire rubber than Nick is, but you never know. Brett, one of the most talented guys in the series, I think this year has been without a doubt a top 5 driver, maybe even top 3, but he's making up ground, and once he gets in the slipstream, Nick is going to have to start thinking about defending. But here we go. Cody Welch still battling out. Now Curtis Yancey, there's a move into turn number 2. Hello, 51. Slides right in front of him. That was darn close. I got a little bit worried about that for a second, but the 44 truck is going to lose another spot, but still where he started and qualified in 6th, sitting in 6th right now. Connor Zook is in the spot behind him, so again, we'll see if they can get regrouped and maybe work their way up through the field. Eddie Hagee after that, Christopher Ferrara, and Jason Greenwell. That is the rest of your top 10. Greenwell, a playoff driver, but he's going to need to improve more than that. He's quite a way down in the playoff bracket overall, so this is going to be big for him. Might even be a guy that has to go for the win, depending on how guys a little ways further up in the point standings, how they make out tonight. And unless we see some big wrecks here later on in the event, Jason's going to be gunning for the win, but he came so close at Michigan, so we know he's got that top-end pace in him, as we have seen historically. Brett Guzik lost a little bit of ground that last time by. You see Nick is pulling away a little bit, less close than he was that last lap. And actually, Michael Ramos and Cody Welch, who have broken away from Curtis Yancey now that he made that move on Cale Zook, they're starting to make up a little bit of ground in their own right. So let's go on board with Cody Welch for just a moment. Maybe, you know, watch a quick lap around here at Pocono and just kind of see the line and see what he's got to do chasing in behind another car. You see actually get right up to the back bumper of Michael Ramos down to the turn 3 braking zone. So the Flushing, Michigan native finding any opportunity he possibly can to get by. Slides right up to the top wall, running right against that line. And yeah, Michael, I think, it's proven tough to pass at the moment. He's positioning his truck well. I don't know if Cody is saving fuel. I would have thought the slipstream would be a little bit more powerful than that down the front stretch. Would have thought he'd made up a little bit more ground, but didn't. Kind of just slotted in behind him. And as we see through the exit of turn number 1, well, I think he can make the move any moment if he wanted to. It's just a question of when and a question of timing. If this line actually makes up ground, as they are doing on Brett Guzik and Nick Nickerson, maybe it's best for Welch to just kind of sit behind Ramos, maybe help each other out, kind of get in a rhythm, and then get up to the front too before they start battling it out. You know, these guys are thinking about the big picture, especially if you're Michael Ramos, who, you know, a win tonight would be huge for him. He's not nowhere near as punched into the playoffs as any of the other guys in the top 3, so top 4, I should say. So up front, you see Nickerson, Guzik, Ramos, and Welch still 2nd or 3rd and 4th, I should say, and then what a ways further back, a fun battle here between Christopher Ferrara and Jason Greenwell. Gary Moore Jr. involved as well. Coming across the line, the better run for the 13 truck. Going to get a little bit of help from the 89. And Jason Greenwell to the inside, just hung out to dry, no help. And he goes for potentially moving up into 9th, all the way back down to 11th as we head to the turn 1 braking zone. Might still have a shot to get Gary Moore back, but side by side through turn number 1, the 89 truck is going to have the better run off the corner. So Unless the 83 truck has something illegal in it. Yeah, he's just going to have to slide in for the moment. Maybe try the slipstream down to turn number 2, but Gary Moore can use that momentum and go past the 13 of Christopher Ferrara. So these non-playoff drivers really not seemingly caring about making some ruffling some feathers with these playoff guys, and I respect that. You know, these guys are going for wins just as much as anybody. They still come out every week on Wednesday and still fight their way through. So deserved position gain there for Gary Moore, and he is up into the 9th spot. Still battling it out there with Christopher Ferrara, who got a fun little run there off the corner, but to no avail for right now. Cody Welch is by Michael Ramos, so move done. The 85 checks another one off the list. Other than that, looking back throughout the field, somebody has dove way to the bottom. Eddie Hagge is in a bit of a tip here with Connor Zook. Gets to the inside and thought it was going to be a relatively no questions asked move, but no, great run on the outside for the 55 of Zook. That was beautiful positioning of the car through turn number 1. Still side by side, and the better run should go to the 55. The 97 of Hagge, though, holding in there, trying to get the side draft. You can see it the way he's kind of weaving around on the inside of that 55. Is it going to work? Still to the inside through turn number 2, but still doesn't have the move made. And no, the 55 going to get him back, has the run off the corner. And now, once again, Gary Moore coming into the picture. The 89 truck, oh, gets blocked by the 97. Massive defensive move there from Eddie Hagge. Gary Moore, you know, he's probably not going to like that. He's probably going to do whatever he can now to get the move made on the number 97. A little update further in the pack. Cody Welch has started to make a considerable amount of ground up on Michael Ramos, just kind of pulling away from him, you see there in this shot. Brett Guzik not too far up ahead, but even less far ahead of Brett Guzik is the number 2 of Nick Nickerson, because Brett he's making up ground once again, got that gap down to a half second. So Nick, still your leader, and well, we've definitely seen that before. That is not a new occurrence by any means, but I don't think it's going to be an easy night for him tonight. We're already seeing in the back, guys are showing potential to have really good racecraft here, and I think that's going to be such an important element at Pocono, as it is at many tracks, but certainly a track as technical as the Tricky Triangle. It's going to be important, so we'll see who has that skill to make the move when it comes time to do so here at the end of the race to go for the win. But right now, an all-playoff driver top 5, Nickerson, Guzik, Welch, Ramos, and Yancey. The first exception to that rule is Cale Zook here, sitting in 4th, trying to make up some ground on Curtis Yancey. At the moment is not doing so, but well, you know, Curtis is, again, as I talked about before, a guy who traditionally burns up quite a bit of tires early in the run, so always the possibility that the 44 will make up a little bit of ground here once we get later and later into the stint. But as of right now, it is still that same top 5, and then the 2 Zooks, Hagge, Gary Moore, Ricky Hart Jr., and Mark Allen Bivens are your top 10. Still, though, that battle, the 55 and the 97 with Gary Moore in the background. This has kind of been the storyline of this early portion of the race so far. Keep an eye on that, but John Graham having a fun battle here, a little ways further back in the pack. This is the battle for 22nd, essentially, so Andrew Zook there in that blue number 07 truck. Then it's John Graham to the inside, Gary Wright to the outside. Steve Ork in the 25 truck, kind of a background player in this battle as well, could factor in any moment. With the 96, that American scheme down to the inside is going to give the spot up to Gary Wright, so the 6 truck up 5 spots overall now in 23rd position. And Andrew Zook as well, duking it out with him. Now, Wright's going to look to the inside, but up front in the field, Nick Nickerson, Cody Welch, Michael Ramos all coming down pit road. Ramos carrying a lot of speed, but I think the 27 did get it woed up, so new leader, Ricky Hart Jr. Where is Brett Guzik is what I'm wondering. Oh, Brett pitted the last time by, so the 04 truck making that jump down pit road a little bit earlier. Not a bad move, I don't think. Honestly, you know, tried the undercut a little bit. He was making up ground on Nick, and, you know, the slipstream was helping, but, you know, Brett's a guy who's historically had very good pit in and pit out cycles, so could make some forward progress here. But yeah, let's see the race off pit road. Nickerson, Ramos, your first 2 guys in, then both Zooks. Who will it be? Who will come off pit road first? Here's the battle. I think that's Cody Welch, so gonna be darn close. Welch and Nickerson, the race off pit road. Then it's Ramos and Yancey gonna lose a little bit of ground. Then I think that's Cale Zook, Gary Moore, Kevin Foster. But wow, great pit stop then for Cody Welch. That was similar to Kyle Larson a couple weeks ago at Phoenix, how he won his first NASCAR Cup Series championship in real life, and using the same effect there for the 85, making up a bunch of ground there on a really great pit stop. So the 85 crew doing a stellar job, and he is going to make up some ground. He is now in the slipstream on Mr. Nick Nickerson. The question is, where is Brett Guzik? And the answer to that question is quite a ways back, you see here. Now just coming through turn 2, so the undercut move not working for him. Now he's going to watch Ramos and Yancey battle it out, and oh boy, are they about to. Look at those 2 guys right next to each other as we head to turn number 3. Yancey is going to be the guy on the attack, as he often is in this series, and Ramos is going to be the guy trying to defend. Ricky Hart on pit road as we speak. He's just leaving his box. Trey Ellis, David Lakey, Bill Harkins have all come down, so they will be cycling out a little ways further back in the field, but right now it is Nick Nickerson there, trying to make up some ground and trying to run away really from Cody Welch there in the 85 truck. Getting a little bit glitchy right now, but sometimes it's the telemetry really likes to jump around and the program can get a little bit confused, so we'll be back in just a moment to normal service. But right now, Hilbrands and Hogan, this is a fun little battle. We haven't talked about this kind of tandem here so far throughout the event, but both of these guys have pitted to this point in the race, so this is going to be an important thing to watch. Hilbrand side by side with Hogan down to turn number 1. This is now the battle for the lead, at least, until those guys on pit stop cycles cycle back out to the lead. But Benny Hogan does get the move done, so that 88 truck, who's had podiums this season, again, if he'd done the whole year, would have absolutely been a playoff driver. And he has proven a tough guy to beat tonight. Now Hilbrand's trying to come back at him, going for any laps they can possibly lead. No bonus points here in the playoffs, but you know, Hilbrand's going to want to lead every lap he possibly can just to put the cherry on top of this event if he's able to win it. But here comes Action Jackson as well. Brandon Jackson trying to throw his hat in the proverbial ring here. He's going to get the move done on the double 8. The double 9 down to the inside of Hilbrand's, trying the move, but didn't quite make up enough ground into the braking zone. So Tony Hilbrand should lead across the line here, but the 99 and the 88 are going to make it tough. A little ways further back is Kevin Foster, just coming off of turn number 3 now, and John Graham in the 96 truck sitting 5th. You saw that move a couple laps ago on Gary Wright, who sits in 6th. Back up to the front, though. Jackson now slotting in behind the 92 truck of Hilbrand's. And really the question is, do these guys really want to battle all that tough? Because they know they're on an alternative pit strategy. The best plan might honestly just be to save fuel. With about a 24 to 26 lap fuel cycle here at Pocono, probably going to be a pretty solid 2-lap race. I don't see the need for much strategizing, but you never know. Everybody has a different plan, and well, these guys are just kind of packing up here. I think this is what they want to be doing if they want to make up ground on that pack behind. 26 seconds back. It's about the average pit cycle. Important to mention, I don't know what has happened to Cody Welch. I assume he didn't take tires in that last stop, but he is dropping like a rock right now. Now 3 seconds back in Nickerson. Remember how close he was there when he left pit road. Curtis Yancey going by on the inside. Same with Michael Ramos. So I think with 2 stops, they have 2 sets of tires in the pits. I would have thought we'd be fairly safe to the end to do a stop or take tires in every stop, but maybe strategizing for later in the race. Maybe Cody not caring too much about this current stint, but he is losing ground now inside of the top 10, at least provisionally, until the pit cycles all work out. But yeah, he's going to have Brett Guzik trying to make the move in just a moment. Brett, who, again, lost a considerable amount of time on that last pit stop. And I'm wondering if that was the case. Maybe that's why Welch made up so much time, is because he took less tires. And if so, that kind of suggests that he thinks it is going to be a late race caution situation where he needs that extra set. But here goes Brett Guzik. We're side by side heading down to turn number 1. The 04 and the 85. 2 guys that could absolutely go for the title this season. So do not be surprised if we see this battle once again in the round of 4 even. But for now, it's going to be the 04. Does get the move done down to turn number 1. So Brett Guzik can add another one to the tally. He's up a couple of spots since that last pit stop. But again, lost a considerable amount of ground. So hopefully it was worth it if he did take tires. But Brandon Jackson crossing the line here. Just got the move done on Tony Hilbrand. So Action Jackson, as we end at lap number 25. Leads here at Pocono Raceway. Somebody pitting in the background. Who is that? That is Steve Orrick in the number 25. Coming down pit road. We interviewed him last week. It was actually a kind of a fun thing. Nick, who did win the race at Watkins Glen, said, well, I've had plenty of opportunities. It's time to give the opportunity to somebody else. So we got a chance to interview the 25 of Steve Orrick, and that was great to do. And he was feeling confident about Pocono. He felt pretty good about tonight's event, so we'll be sure to keep an eye on Steve Orrick throughout the rest of the event. Maybe he finds a little bit more pace later on, and it'll certainly help if we get a caution, kind of bunch the field up again. But for now, Benny Hogan has also got by Tony Hilbrand. So the 92 truck, who has been so quick so far, again, said he was feeling good about Pocono, qualified in 3rd. Now he's back down 2 spots by both Brandon Jackson and Benny Hogan's doing. So battle here for 2nd, Hogan and Hilbrand. Now Hogan going to pit this time by. So Benny Hogan down at pit road, the 88 truck, to his pit stall. And Tony Hilbrand's will now chug forward back into 2nd place. And now him and Brandon Jackson are your top 2. So kind of simplifying out here a little bit. No noticeable battles right here on track. It's Curtis Yancey and Michael Ramos not too far away from one another. So this could become the battle for 8th any moment right now. But other than that, it's Gary Moore and Ricky Hart aren't too far away from each other. Same with Cale Zook. So Ricky Hart, who again is comfortable on points. He's just kind of got to be in the top 10, be in that vicinity, and he will lock his way into the round of 8. Kevin Foster, Benny Hogan are on pit road now. So going to see if the 88 can beat the number 8 off of pit road. He should, based on the time he came down. And oh, it's going to be close, actually, surprisingly. Benny Hogan, maybe I'm wondering if Kevin Foster kind of timed it specifically to when Hogan was coming in. Might have beat him off pit road. I think he did. It's going to be close. They're going to cycle out in the 21st and 22nd position. So Foster does get by Hogan, and now up to the front. It's Jackson and Hilbrand's coming down pit road. Hilbrand's carrying a lot of speed, but does load it up in time. Shouldn't take a speeding penalty. And with that, Graham coming down as well. He was about to lead the lap. If not, Gary Wright is the exact same. So back to the front. The man himself, Nick Nickerson, will cycle out as your leader once these guys on pit road come down. But we will watch the battle off of pit road, and then we're going to go to another quick commercial break. But here is Brandon in the box. What kind of stop will this be? Gets the right sides up. We'll see if he takes all 4 tires here. The 99 crew in the Crown Royal suits, which notably do not match the paint scheme. But, well, Evan Wall made the paint scheme, so shout out again to Evan Wall Media. Happy 21st birthday, man. He is the guy who does the paint scheme for Brandon Jackson. One of the best in the series, and that paint scheme just blew by the 92 on pit road. So Tony Hilbrand's maybe a little bit more trouble getting into his box. Still should be within slipstream range of the number 99, but is going to lose a little bit of ground. So there he goes, back on track. A couple of trucks go by, including Joshua McQuiggan. So cycling out relatively mid-pack. Not a terrible pit cycle, but certainly a guy I think would have hoped for a little bit further through, especially Tony Hilbrand's. You know, an alternative pit strategy. He's still got 1 pit stop to go, so not completely out of the woodworks yet, but I think he is a pit stop ahead of most of the other guys, most of the others on track. Of course, with the exception of Brandon Jackson, who just pitted. So not bad overall so far for the 92, but now he might lose his spot to Kevin Foster, who got a good run off of turn number 2. He will not. So for the time being, Tony Hilbrand's is going to stay in 18th. We'll keep you updated here on all the battles. Right now, just Nick, 4 seconds clear of the rest of the field at the moment. But again, anything could happen. I'm pretty confident the rest of the race is going to get a lot more nuts. But, well, for just a brief moment, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're going to watch this battle side by side here on screen with Ramos, Guzik, and Zook. So we will leave this up, but I will be absent for just a moment. So it's going to be Ramos, Yancey, and Guzik here. Just enjoy this. This is what the Bandit Racing League is all about. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, stellar battle we're watching here, side by side with Ramos, Guzik, and Yancey. Michael Ramos, as you just saw, got the upper hand through turn number 1. So now it's Ramos, Guzik, Yancey, second, third, and fourth, respectively. This has been a great battle. Yeah, the question about Brett Guzik is a very good one in the chat there about why he fell back so far. Yeah, I think it is just a case of a slow pit cycle. I don't know if it was slow getting in his box or he took extra tires compared to those around him, but whatever it is, he looks quick. It's just, yeah, lost a ton of track position. So Nick Nickerson still about 4.5, maybe 5 seconds ahead of this pack for second, and he's just got so much pace right now. I know that's not a huge surprise, but you know, with Pocono, I was genuinely expecting it to be a little bit more of a restrictor plate style race. Of course, the corners are important, but as long as you can stay on the slipstream on somebody, it's relatively easy to stay in the ballpark of a leader. So just an incredible drive once again for Nick, and he is not done by any means. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a caution later in the event, and if so, everybody's going to pack up and things are going to get interesting again. But right now, this is the battle between Cale Zook and Ricky Hart Jr. for 5th. Gary Moore, I saw, had some support there in the chat, so he has been having a great race for himself so far. The 89 truck there on equal pit cycling to the other drivers in the top 10, so genuinely in 7th right now. Not a playoff driver because he joined the series a little bit later in the year, but he is 2 quick moves away from the top 5 for, I believe, the first time this season, so good on Gary Moore. We're going to keep an eye on him throughout the course of this battle, but right now, Ricky down to the inside through turn number 3. gonna try it as the 64 truck. Does he get the move done? The question is this run off the turn, and no, the 44 truck just gonna get a better one than he did. So Cale Zook will cycle back out in front as we cross the line. The 64 truck doing everything he can to make his way back into the top 5. And again, tonight he is just going for points. Does not need the win to make it into the round of 8 in the playoffs. But, you know, of course, he would certainly love to take away a win at this point in the season. Would be his 3rd of the year. But just like I just mentioned, Gary Moore getting in the picture. 89 truck not too far back. Besides him, though, again, this battle up front, Michael Ramos is the guy we've got to keep an eye on because, well, it looks like every turn he's got Brett Guzik breathing right down the back of his neck, and he's done well so far positioning that number 27 truck in a good spot to block, but really he shouldn't be focusing if he's going for the win on block, and he should just say, you know what, honestly, you know, Brett and I team up. I think Curtis is a little bit more aggressive of the two. Brett's usually a pretty laid-back conservative guy, so if the 3 guys could just team up and kind of get some forward momentum going up towards Nick, they're 5 seconds clear of that pack in behind of Zook, Hart, and Moore, so I think it's in their best interest to just team up and make some progress, but at the moment, that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing Nick just pulling away up front, and a very familiar sight, as you guys will know if you've been here for quite a while this season. Again, this could be win number 10 on the year, which is truly absurd. Like, that is absolutely crazy. What a year it's been for him. Sorry, I might be win number 9. I might be miscalculating that, but whatever it is, it's a lot. And the fact that it is so hard to remember says something about the kind of season he's had. Elsewhere in the field, though, Mark Allen Bivens, Eddie Haggy, Connor Zook having a fun little scrap here. Those are the 3 guys just behind Jason Greenwell, who is also in this battle. So Jason Greenwell currently sitting in 9th. A good points day so far for the 83 truck, but well, the problem for him is going to lie in making up enough points to get into the playoffs. Again, we'll put up the playoff bracket here side by side as we wait for this battle to develop. Again, here is a reminder of where people sit heading into tonight's race. So yeah, Jason Greenwell way down there. You see 30 points back of the cutoff. He's going to need to go for the win tonight. And again, a caution comes out, and he's in a good spot, not outside the realm of possibility. He was great at Michigan, and that's a relatively simple track. You saw Matt Crockett, well, you didn't see it, but Matt Crockett in the background did just come down pit road. Same with Connor Sawyer, both playoff guys. So tonight's big for them. Again, they're just doing anything they can far back enough that, well, in the case of Connor Sawyer, could make his way in on points, though he does have damage to the outside of that number 3 truck. Would have scraped it off the outside of the right-hand wall, but yeah, he could make his way in on points. Matt, I think, would have to go for the win tonight. I think that's going to be his ticket. Trey Ellis definitely needs to go for the win if he's looking to get into the round of 8. So guys that are further back in the field that are going to be relying on a caution. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one, especially not with battles like this on track when we get towards the end of the race, because you know, Michael Ramos already in a good spot. Remember, he was the first guy below the cutoff, 1 point below. He'd be comfortably into the playoffs at this point right now, well ahead of Connor Sawyer, so he'd take over that spot. But the big worry becomes if a non-playoff driver jumps up into the top 8. If somebody like, say, Curtis Yancey were to win, and Michael didn't make up enough points to get by somebody like Kevin Foster, who came into tonight 15 points ahead of him, then he still finds himself out. So really, Michael, I think, is going to be wanting to, if he's so cognizant of the points that he wants to keep any shot he has at the round of 8 in play, that he's going to want to hold off Curtis Yancey specifically. And Brett Guzik's not really a worry because, you know, Brett could win. It wouldn't switch up the playoff outcome whatsoever. And down to the inside he goes. So Brett is going to make that forward progress. Down to the inside he goes. And this group's still losing time on Nick, but they are having a fun little battle with each other. Is Curtis going to go with Brett? Now that the opportunity is there, he's going to peek to the inside at least, the 51 truck. In turn number 3, who does he go with? Is going to go to the top line, so might give Michael Ramos a shove and decide to go with him. No, as we come across the line for lap 36, so we just got past the halfway point here. No, he's going to tuck in behind, so same way we started the last lap is how we're going to start lap number 36. So just past the halfway point here at Pocono, and it's been a fun race so far. Brett Guzik still battling it out with the 27 truck. Where is Curtis Yancey going to go? I think patience is probably the best plan for him right now. He is definitely in play in points with Michael Ramos. He's behind him right now, and he came into tonight behind, but yeah, that's going to be an interesting points battle to watch all throughout the night, especially if they stay this close on track. But a little ways further back, Gary Moore has actually made the move on Ricky Hart, so while we were busy watching that battle, Gary Moore continuing his forward progress to the number 89 truck. Up to 6th, and playoff contender Ricky Hart, who again just needs to pick up a good chunk of points, but he just hit the outside wall. That is not going to help that progress whatsoever. Considerable damage to the 64. You can even just see him handling off the corner, trying to get that truck straightened out. That was sudden and aggressive there. You see Brett Guzik is coming down pit road there in the 04 truck. Let's see if we can get a good replay on what happened to Ricky. Just got way too wide in the corner for whatever reason. Who was it that got by him? So scroll down here a little bit, make sure we get the right moment. So Ricky Hart, where did he go? There he is. So this was, sorry, this was just a moment ago. We got to go back a little bit further, but yeah, I want to see what went wrong there, because Ricky Hart, just a guy that so rarely makes mistakes, such a dialed-in driver, and kind of out of character for that to happen to him. So coming through turn number 2, the interior tattoo number 64 truck just got wide, just a bit of a slip up. Didn't quite get to that divot in the wall there that you want to be aiming for off of turn number 2. It just slid up a little bit too soon. Might be saying something about his tire quality, and he did just, I think, did just pit a moment ago. No, he hasn't yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Brett Guzik did just pit, though. He just came off a pit road, so he is going to try to beat out this man. Nick Nickerson on pit road. Michael Ramos as well. Curtis Yancey just following him, and Gary Moore pitting alongside the leaders. So that'll be a real test of where he can come out of the pits and see if the 89 can continue to work his way through the field. But up to the front, Ricky Hart, who, remember, did just take that shunt off the outside wall, does have damage, but is currently sitting as your leader, as he's going to stay out a little bit longer than the other guys on his pit cycle. So it's now Hart, Jackson, Foster, Hogan, and Hillbrands, all of whom pitted on lap number 25. So they've only gone 13 laps on this cycle. They can go about 13 more, and then they got a pit. So Michael Ramos on pit road did... no, Michael didn't beat Nick, but he is darn close. How did he get that close to the 2 truck? What was the strategy there for Michael Ramos? Was it less tires? Maybe it was 2. Maybe it's just about track position, but whatever it was, well, Nick has a contender breathing right down the back of his neck, much closer than he did the last lap before. So interesting to see how that plays out. We'll see if Ramos can have a good outlap here. He's already quite a ways back where they came out of the pits, but don't be surprised if Michael makes up some ground. He's been great at the ovals of this size in the past. But Ricky Hart, again, that damaged number 64 truck down pit road. And if the 64 is going for the win, which, again, doesn't need to in the points, just needs a good points finish tonight, then he might as well take some damage repair off that truck. Maybe go for his quick repair. Slides through his box a little bit. Does have to back up. So Ricky Hart, things are just unraveling a little bit for the 64. But right now it is Brandon Jackson who now leads the race. Action Jackson himself. Shout out to Brandon's Twitch. He's always Street Boss 24 on Twitch. If you want to get a driver's perspective, something different you can check out sometime. And they're always up after the race. So if ever Brandon wins or does something exciting and you want a place to go watch it back, that is the place to do it. So Street Boss 24 on Twitch. Maybe I'll throw it in the description someday. Gotta shout out our boy. But Action Jackson coming off of turn number 3. Is he going to pit this time by and give the lead up to somebody else, potentially Kevin Foster, who sits right behind him there in the number 8 truck? He will not this lap, so leading with 30 to go, it'll be Brandon Jackson. The 99 truck leads at the line. Further back, though, these are 2 guys that we've kind of forgotten about in this race so far. I thought they were going to be genuinely much further up in this pit cycle than they were of this group of guys in this strategy. But yeah, Benny Hogan and Tony Hillbrand's currently sitting in 3rd and 4th. Realistically, if you consider the pit cycles, I'd put them at around probably 7th or 8th, but considering the pace they had early, that's kind of a surprise, especially Tony Hillbrand's, qualifying in 3rd. Has since dropped back a little bit. That 92 truck is still in 4th on the track right now, but again, when we come down pit road, he's going to lose a couple of spots, and he has made an extra pit stop compared to everybody else. 3 pit stops, and the most recent on lap number 26, so not sure what that extra stop would have been for, but here comes David Lakey in the number 84. I think he made contact with the pit wall there a little bit. Kind of tapped his box on the way in. He's another playoff driver that really needed a good performance tonight, and yeah, as long as he can stay on the lead lap, again, if that caution that I've been talking about a couple times does come out, he's still just as much in play as anybody else, but yeah, some of those guys at the back of the field got to find something here late in this event if they want to keep their hopes at the round of 8 alive. Still up front, though, Brandon Jackson. Action Jackson does lead ahead of Kevin Foster, who's now but a full second back. Then it's Benny Hogan breaking away from Tony Hillbrand's a little bit. That's that red number 88 truck in the background of Hogan. Then it's John Graham, Gary Wright. And then your race leader, once these pit cycles all work themselves out, Mr. Nick Nickerson in the 2 truck. We're at the field now, a battle between Cody Welsh and Gary Moore, 2 guys that have a pretty solid following tonight. Second caution does come out. There it is. That is what we were looking for. Things get interesting once again. It is Trey Ellis and Joshua McQuiggan. Trey Ellis, a playoff driver, and don't know if he's going to lose a lap, but that might be the 4 trucks' hopes for the round of 8. Gone up as well. Here is your replay presented by Perfect Shine Auto Spa, as always, for any replay or any race recap related festivities. The 4 truck just absolutely hooked by the number 29 of McQuiggan. Just, if anything, I think that would go in the 4 truck. Just kind of slid up in front of him. Don't know why. I don't actually know what the game plan was there from the number 4, but let's get a replay there once again, just kind of see what happened, maybe from a different perspective. He's trying to side draft. I don't know. That was just a case of room. That wasn't specifically on Trey. Wasn't specifically on Joshua either. That was just some good racing. Just two guys really going for that particular spot. Really trying to side draft each other, make up some ground heading into turn 2. And yeah, the 29 really did come down and the 4 came up. And as you saw, the two trucks phased through each other. So iRacing's quality contact detection program not exactly working as intended, I'd imagine. Or if that is how they intend for it to work, then we need to talk to iRacing. But Brandon Jackson, your leader there, at the end of the second caution, or the end of the second green flag stint here, into the second caution. And yeah, what an interesting segment of the race that was. Joshua McQuiggan now out of the event. The 29 truck is just going to call it quits. So we'll see if Trey Ellis stays in here. And now 21 trucks on the lead lap, 26 overall left in the event. Well, we're going to watch the pit cycle this time by. Everybody going to come down pit road, or at least those who are not on that other strategy. But this is really interesting timing. Really, really interesting. I believe it was, 24 to 26 lap pit cycle. We got 28 laps to the end. And we are under caution. So if we get one more caution, guys that pit now could make it to the end on fuel and absolutely upset these guys that are not pitting this time by. Nick is going to stay out. So there you go. The two cycles are going to differentiate. Nick Nickerson stays out. Brett Guzik as well. Curtis Yancey all on track. But your first driver onto pit road, Brandon Jackson, and that caution worked out perfectly for him. Might have a shot at going to the end on fuel, and he should be the leader in this this little pack here coming out of the pits, because the drivers that pitted behind him, or the drivers that were behind him under yellow, none of them pitted. So he's got a couple seconds buffer there into the pits. Here comes Cody Welch, who missed his box. Actually, that could be crucial. That could be a spot or two you lose real quick. Okay, here's the battle off pit road. This is what we want to watch. It's going to be Cale Zook, actually. When Kevin Foster beats Brandon Jackson, then it's Moore, Haggy, Hilbrands, Hogan. Then it was John Graham, Michael Ramos. Where is Cody Welch? There is Sawyer. There's Andrew Zook. And there is Cody Welch. Wow. That earlier pit stop was just absolutely lights out for the 85, but that is not what Cody Welch needed there. That number 85, who again is punched into the round of 8. Tonight doesn't have, really any points implications for him, but again, he wants that win. We've seen it week after week. He's had so many podiums, including last week at Watkins. It's just stuff like that can just totally upset your race. And again, if he can get to the end and he can just weave his way through the pack a little bit, which that's Cody Welch. We know he can. Well, he's definitely got a shot, but yeah, that was just unfortunate there. That tiny mistake on pit road, and well, that was one that could affect the entire complexion of this race, because whenever Cody is in the top 5, he is a guy you have to watch out for. But David Lakey will get the pass around the pace car next time by. Nick Nickerson back to the race lead. So it's the 2 of Nickerson, the 04 of Guzik, the 51 of Yancey, the 10 of Crockett, and the 64 of Ricky Hart Jr. are your top 5 here, provided nobody pits before this next green flag restart. Very quickly, the final kind of segment we got to do in tonight's event. We would have liked to do it earlier, but it's been a pretty jam-packed broadcast so far. It is time for your track preview here of Pocono Raceway. I know we're quite a ways into tonight's event, so you're probably pretty used to the track by now, but the Tricky Triangle, as it's called, opened in 1971, has played host to a variety of events, including NASCAR, IndyCar, until a couple of years ago with, Robert Wicken's massive crash a couple of years back, a Canadian driving legend, and one of the worst crashes I've ever seen. I personally hate that IndyCar ever raced here, and I'm glad that they no longer do, but NASCAR raced here as well. Most notably this season in the real world finish, Kyle Larson blew a tire on the final corner of the event to lose in quite horrific fashion there. So it's a speedway event here, obviously Pocono Raceway. It is a 2.5 mile oval there. We're running 70 laps tonight, so for a total of 175 miles. And the 3 turns, as you can see, are all banked differently. All 3 unique turns. We have the tunnel turn in turn 2, and then the first and third turn. So that 14-degree turn 1 banked after Trenton, and modeled after Trenton, I should say. Turn number 8 is modeled after the corners at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so those kind of blocked out, squared off turns there. Turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are slightly different at Indianapolis, but it is modeled after their overall shape. That is the tunnel turn, as it's also known, because the infield tunnel to get into the infield part of the track is below turn 2. We're actually just going over it right now, so you can see they're behind kind of that gravel bit that is right next to the tunnel. So turn 3 modeled after Milwaukee. We were there earlier this season at the Milwaukee Mile. And the quickest time on iRacing was a 51.137 here in the trucks, and that is an absurd time. That must have been run using, a variety of things from help to slipstreams to physical bumps. That is an absurd time, and I believe tonight's qualifying time was quite a way shorter than that. So quite a way longer than that, I should say. And next week, we're back to the dirt. It's going to be nuts. We're doing kind of a dirt track style heat racing format, and I'm really looking forward to Eldora. I think it'll be a fun race. Might even have some guest commentators, but that is going to be nuts. For the first round of the round of 8, tune in next week for that. But here we go. Nickerson, your leader. Brett Guzik on the outside of the front row. We are off. Green flag here at Pocono for the Where's Turn 470, presented by Velocity Racing League. Down to turn 1. Yancey, again, that third place truck has proved quicker so far, and it does again. The 51 down to the inside. Gets the move done on Brett Guzik. Guzik is moving back. Nickerson is in the vicinity of these trucks. But yeah, here we go. Theo Ford back to the inside. Got to try to get him back early. And this is where stuff is going to get intense. Some guy's going to get a second chance to go for the round of 8, to go for the win. And guys like Curtis Yancey are going to be fighting for everything they're worth. But Nick still in the ballpark, so he has not run away just yet. We got Guzik, Hart, Crockett rounding off your top 5. Matt Crockett there in the 10 truck. Kind of had a quiet night so far, but a wreck. Connor Sawyer, Christopher Ferrara involved. The 3, 85 is in it. Cody Welch has been involved. The guy who did not want to be that far back in the pack to start with gets caught in it. Andrew Zook as well. Terry Condis in the 32 truck. A massive wreck off of turn number 2 here at Pocono. Caution number 3. If Evan were here, he'd say it, but I'll say it for now. Cautions breed cautions, and we see it once again. Let's go to your full send racing replay presented by Perfect Shine Auto Spa. Connor Sawyer, this is coming off of turn 2. There's the 3 truck, that white and blue entry with the gold number. He just hooks the 85. I don't know what happened in terms of spacing. The 13 truck just caught in the immediate aftermath. A couple more guys tangled up in that, but we want to go back, but we want to get Cody Welch's perspective on this. So, coming off a turn, that was weird. Again, another one of those kind of just those racing. How did David Lakey get by that? Holy cow! Oh my. Okay, wait a minute. We'll break down this crash in a moment, but we probably had about 10 contenders this season for best crash dodge of the year. But just watch David Lakey. Taps the wall a little bit, but like, how did he get through that? Look at how flawless that 84 truck is. And okay, sorry, we do this a lot, and that was cool. You guys saw that. This is what we want to break down. I think it was just Sawyer again got too close to the wall, kind of reacted and bounced off of it, as we saw earlier in one of those earlier wrecks off of turn 3, and then just Welch was sliding up, thinking that that Sawyer in the 3 truck was going to be where he was coming off of turn number 2. When by the time Welch got to the apex, and just didn't happen. Just hooked him, and Christopher Ferrara found himself involved in the aftermath. Let's get his perspective. 13 truck again, a playoff contender. That's going to hurt. Tonight, I think he's got another quick repair. He's got one more shot, but that 3 truck sliding across in front of him might be what ends his hope at a championship. So, Christopher Ferrara, we love him. He's the guy who does our Instagram and our social media. Speaking of which, follow Bandit Racing League on Instagram. Bandit Racing League, and it's just Bandit Racing League on Instagram. That's where you go for it. So, punch that in, and that's going to be your ticket. Brett Guzik now pitting, and there you go. The quick repair taken. Brett, that is the cracking your knuckles, setting your fists up equivalent to a fight here. He is getting ready to go. He's going to get a completely fresh race truck, fresher tires than anybody in the field. Granted, by only 2 laps, but still, Cody Welch now coming off a pit road. He uses his quick repair. That's going to be fun to watch. Welch and Guzik going to be actually lining up right behind one another. It's going to be Welch 2 spots ahead of Guzik with David Lakey, who, again, that great dodge we saw just a moment ago, sitting in the middle. Those guys coming from the back of the pack, that is going to be a story we want to watch. And it feels like every week Cody is coming from back of the pack and makes up 15 spots in the last 5 laps and still comes home for second. Well, patterns are definitely a thing in the series. You kind of see some patterns form over time, like Brett. His storyline earlier in the season, kind of similar to Cody's now, where it just felt like no matter what he did, couldn't get that win. And now Cody's in kind of a similar slump. So stuff like that kind of happens pretty repetitively week after week, and it's fun to watch. And it means when those streaks finally end, well, it's quite a big deal. And who knows? Again, I never count Cody Welch out. So 19th place is it's going to be tough, but he's not done in my mind. Let's see what he can do. And 24 laps here at Pocono, that's plenty of time, and the lights on the pace truck are still on. So we're going to go to another quick side-by-side. Should be the last one of the event, maybe give or take one more, but going to pick a driver. Who do we got on track? Who's sitting here on Skype who we haven't seen yet? Let's go to Jason Greenwell. He's had a great race so far, and overall he's looking for a spot in the round of 8, and if he can do so in that 83 truck, well, that would be an absolutely huge finish for him. It would require, I think, it would basically require a win, I think, at this point with how the points are working out. But I know Jason can do it. Again, we almost saw it at Michigan. So we'll go on board with the driver of the number 83 for just a moment. And we'll be right back here, ready to go green for the third time tonight at Pocono for the Where's Turn 4 70, presented by Velocity Racing League. That is my bad. It is race time, ladies and gentlemen. Off at turn number 3. Nickerson, Lacy, your front row. The pace track about to take the left-hander on a pit road. Let's get ready to go. 22 laps to go at Pocono. Green flag. Nickerson, a good jump. Crocker in behind on the outside of the line. Can Crocker again take advantage of that third place? What seems to be an advantage so far. Hard jumping to the inside. This is where it gets nuts. Nickerson's having internet trouble, so we'll switch to somebody else. 3 wide into turn number 1. Ricky Hart, the madman, going for the move there down turn number 1 on the inside. We're still 3 wide. Brandon Jackson going up the middle. Tony Hilbrands is back in the equation. This is where it gets exciting. That outside the line there, forming up single file. Jackson looking to the inside of Hart. Those two guys have experience together. A great run for action. Jackson at turn number 2. Can he hold it on the inside? He does. Bounces a little bit off the 64 truck. Don't know if that was contact or just a reactionary move to the inside, but whatever it was, Jackson cannot get the move done in turn number 2. Hart still hanging in there. Crockett and Zook battling it out. Hilbrand's still to the bottom. He's side by side off turn 3. Well, further back, I don't even know what to go to. Cody Welch gets the move done on Zook. Haggie's right in front of him. We're 3 wide in front of them. It's Bivens, Hogan, Ramos, Foster's in the mix. Just what a battle here at Pocono. This is what we were waiting for. The tricky triangle, and is proving tricky for drivers to just find a free space to put their car in. And the 99 is doing that same thing, trying to find an opportunity to get by the 64 Ricky Hart. I think he might have a chance here down to turn number 2. He does, looking to look to the inside. Is this the chance once again? Didn't get it last time. He will get it this time. Does clear the 64, does Brandon Jackson. So up in the top 3, Action Jackson looking for his way into the round of 8. And he's going to be darn close in the points. A win would be huge for him right now. Let's see if he can make his way in. Crockett now, again, this is huge for him as well. He's going to need a win at this pace. Him and Hilbrands. Hilbrands does not. I think Hilbrands can do it on points. So, oh, he bounces a little bit off the wall. Moore kind of follows him in as well. So Gary Moore maybe making a mistake in accordance with Tony Hilbrands, but neither guy a considerable shunt, so shouldn't be enough damage to considerably decrease their pace. But Hogan and Ramos side by side. These are two guys who have been quick all night. Ramos dives low. Hogan goes high. Gets out of the groove a little bit. I think Hogan, yeah, he's going to lose a spot to Mark Allen. Bivens, he moves up another spot. So Bivens into 12th, Haggie in 14th, Foster and Welch 15th and 16th. Both guys comfortable on points. But, well, actually, let me rephrase that. Kevin Foster, of anybody in this pack, I don't know if Kevin is as safe as we think he is. You know, 15 points up. That's a big gap. And if Kevin can't move through a little bit, might not necessarily be able to punch his ticket into the playoffs. Again, it's close, but he's got to stay in this relative vicinity of the racetrack. And he was incredible in this season. The last winner, the last time we were in the trucks in the Bandit Racing League. So what a shock it would be if he doesn't make it into the round of 8. But again, we will just have to wait and see. Right now at the moment, though, here is Ricky Hart Not too far ahead of Kale Zook, but the battle to watch. Tony Hilbrand side by side with Matt Crockett. This is the battle for 6th, and again, two guys that are just fighting with everything they're worth to get into the round of 8. Again, Hilbrand's much more comfortably in the points in the top 8 than Crockett is. I think Crockett does need to go for the win. Man, what a fun night this has been racing. Everybody flying by. Probably can't even hear my voice, but Crockett still cycling in behind, just gonna slide down. I think it's in his best interest for now. These guys again just gotta kind of bunch up because they're going for the win. You know, these spots are important, but if you're Matt Crockett, you just want to get up towards the front of the pack. You don't want to lose that front train all too much. And he's going to do that every lap. He dukes and battles it out with Tony Hilbrand. So there you go. Further back, coming off of turn number 3. Again, this battle between John Graham, and now it's Mark Allen Bivens still heating up. Welch at the end of this little train here. At the front, it is Mark Allen Bivens and Jason Greenwell. And there's a little bit of a gap back to Michael Ramos, but nobody is safe at the moment. Benny Hogan, is he going to try to go 3 wide? He's below Graham. Does back out. Gives the spot actually to Cody Welch, who gets up to the top side. Going to get a good slipstream off Kevin Foster. Are we going to go 3 wide off a 3? Or off a 1, I should say. Almost did. We thought about it. And by we, I mean Cody Welch, but he does back out. Thinks better of it. And John Graham's just going to slide in behind him. So that 85 is... He's been on a tear so far, and that forward progress continues. The 85 truck slotting in behind the 8 truck here. Elsewhere, Matt Crockett, now he's got Gary Moore in the 89 breathing down the back of his neck. The 89's been quick as we've seen all night, and again, he's got some support in the chat tonight, so could be a breakout performance for the 89. Gonna look to the inside after turn number 3. Does have a chance, but the question is, will Ramos give somebody a bit of help? No, he's gonna hang him out to dry. Ramos now looking for, that is 7th place, or 8th place down to turn number 1. He's to the low side. Still, I believe, to the bottom quarter panel of the 89. Nowhere for Moore to go. And he does lose the spot for the time being. Michael Ramos gets by. Michael 2 for 2 here. Might try to get Matt Crockett as well off of turn number 1. Almost slides up into him. Does back off in time and isn't going to get into the 10 truck. So Matt Crockett will hold on to 7th for the time being. But these are the battles that are going to be important to watch. And the points overall, you know, I'll try to give you guys an overall general lay of the land here in these last 10 laps. Just so we at all times know what battle we need to be watching in terms of playoff implications. But just so many guys here, such a big night for so many, and you know, not necessarily in the top 5, but certainly guys like a Matt Crockett, like a Jason Greenwell, who are at least in the picture, and that's all you got to do right now. Ricky Hart down pit road, final pit stop of the day, but again, the question is, do some guys need to make that final pit stop at all? You know, think about guys like Kale Zook, Tony Hilbrand, Brandon Jackson, who pitted on lap 42. If they can just go a couple laps further, and you know, the caution will help. Another caution would help even more, but well, Ricky's going to make the safe play. He comes down pit road where Connor Sawyer is already sitting. Same with Christopher Ferrara and Eddie Hagee as well, another playoff driver coming down pit road. So a little ways further up in the field. If you are new to the series, you may not know some of the context in this battle, but Curtis Yancey and Brandon Jackson, they've got a little bit of history. They've certainly cooled it off, and we haven't seen an on-track incident between these two guys in quite a while, but there was a fierce rivalry between these two gentlemen last season, and it is heating up again, I'd imagine. Here we go, Yancey and Jackson, the battle for second. They're both a second back of Nick Nickerson, who again has just been dominant tonight, just been on rails. I think truly the winner of this battle is the guy that can compete with Nick tonight. And there goes Jackson down to the outside line. We're going to be side by side on the run down to turn number 1. You'll get a better run off the outside of turn 1, but the inside is where you can try to jump in front of the guy on the outside. It's David Lakey in the background coming down pit road, as well as a couple other drivers. Michael Ramos, Jason Greenwell, Matt Crockett, Mark Allen Bivens, but Yancey holds onto the spot for the time being, that inside line. Paying off, but Jackson right to the bottom. Huge block by Curtis Yancey. Holy cow. He was not afraid to send that truck to the apron. And it pays off. That 51 is just fighting for everything he's worth. But again, I think the problem is I think he's just too far back. You know, I think... Let's do some math here. No, Curtis was about 6 spots back. I think Curtis might be above the cutoff, certainly from Connor Sawyer. But with Michael Ramos pitting, that might be another spot for him. So, never mind. Curtis Yancey's going to need to fight for every spot he's worth if he's going for the round of 8 tonight, which you know he is. Up front, was that Nick Nickerson coming down pit? It was Nickerson in the pits. So he's committing. I think that's the way to go. We're bouncing off each other. Whoa! Jackson gets into him. They don't wreck, but Brandon Jackson got fed up with him. Said, "Well, I don't want to use any profanity here, but said I have had enough of you, respectfully, good sir, Mr. Curtis Yancey. You can eat the outside of my number 99 truck, and goodbye. I am the new race leader." Oh, this is the face you want to see. This is If you have ever wanted to see Brandon Jackson in a nutshell, here it is. Look at the face on this man right now. That is dedication. That is a guy who's he is here to win. He doesn't need this for the playoffs. And actually, I keep getting mixed up. I think Brandon's a lot closer to the cutoff than he is. He is. Yeah, Brandon is 8 spots down the cutoff. He is genuinely fighting Curtis Yancey for a playoff spot. So that move could be huge and pivotal. And that was aggressive as heck. Here he comes down pit road. So yeah, I think these drivers are starting to commit now to that 3-stop strategy. There was Yancey. They're diving in behind him on pit road. Is he going to hook him? Oh, this is... I'm just going to stay with this right now. Oh, we got to watch this. These two guys fighting for everything they're worth in the playoffs. 2 points separated them coming in. Gets turned. Guys, this is going to get fun. I am so excited. We're going to go back to your normal camera, but when they come out of pit road, just get ready. Because, again, this could become the battle. This could be what determines who makes the round of 8. Curtis Yancey's already out of his box. He's taken off. I think he's taken less tires than Brandon is. With 15 to go, Brandon Jackson, unless he was taking some repairs for damage, which he may have accrued there after getting tapped by the 51 of Yancey. But Nickerson's going to slot in and go by. So the 2 truck, back to the front, does cycle out behind Curtis Yancey. So it wasn't just a slow stop for Jackson. That was genuinely a very quick pit stop for Yancey. And it's got to be due to tires. You know, he's got to have taken less tires or just needed less fuel. But whatever it is, he is your new race leader. Now a 2.5 clear of Nick Nickerson. Meanwhile, on pit road comes Tony Hilbrand's Andrew Zook. We'll see where these guys cycle out. Meaning Cale Zook in the 44 truck, kind of a name we haven't talked about a ton since the beginning of the event. But he is now your new race leader. Meanwhile, Gary Moore sitting there in second. John Graham in third. A considerably different top 3 than usual. But actually, John Graham is in the equation. So since the start of that last green flag stint, the 96 truck has had some pace, and it's good to see. Good for John Graham. Great race for him so far. But then it's Connor Zook, Gary Wright. Actually, this is a fun little battle between those two guys for fourth. It's Zook and Wright side by side down to turn number 2. Wright's going to peek to the bottom, but nope, Zook holds the momentum on the top side. And this is the guy I want to watch for, because Brett Guzik, who is... How far is Brett Guzik from Nick? He's 14 seconds clear of Nick. He pitted on lap number 46, so he pitted on the most recent caution we had, if not a couple laps before it. He only needs 24 laps of fuel to the finish, and on Matt Crockett's estimate he gave me before the race, he said 24 to 26 laps on fuel. That is exactly the number that Brett Guzik has, so Brett becomes the guy to watch. Might have a chance to go for the win on fuel. Might just be able to coast to the end, and it'd be the boring option compared to the great battles we're seeing on track, but... Well, he's going to try, and I'd imagine he's got 14 seconds of breathing room off of Nick. He's going to try to conserve everything he can, so Brett Guzik could go for his second win of the season, and he could do it on fuel, so keep an eye on the 04 truck. But for now, fun little battle here between, that is Kevin Foster and that silver truck. Then it's Brandon Jackson trying to weave his way back through. He's got to be on newer tires than anybody else. There must be only one set of tires in the pits, and Brandon has taken his other one. So, sorry, 2 sets of tires in the pits. Brandon has taken his other one, so... There you go, the 99 truck. Again, I'm so fascinated to see him and Curtis is... I missed something. Curtis was on pit road at some point for the second time. I don't know if he was given a penalty or an end of the line or something. Well, not an end of the line, a pit road speeding, or not, maybe a speeding penalty, whatever it was. That would have been it, because Jackson would have been right on the limit. Curtis made up a bunch of ground on him at the beginning of the pits. I think Curtis genuinely sped on pit road to try to get to Brandon Jackson's quarter panel, and that may have just cost him a chance at the round of 8. Just so many storylines here late in the race, but I sincerely hope that wasn't the case, because that's not the way you want to see anybody's hopes at the next round of the playoffs end, especially not for Curtis, a guy who, again, I've prided him all season on how much he's improved and how much he's become more patient as a driver, and we've kind of seen him, take a new persona overall. Like, he's still just as talented as he ever was, but he's definitely got a style now that I think is a little bit more cohesive, or what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word I'm looking for, but it just gives him a better shot, I think, at racking up points long term and going for a championship. But it's kind of an out of character move if that was what we saw there. So whatever it may be, Curtis now finds himself back out of the top 20, and it's certainly going to help the guys like Michael Ramos, like Brandon Jackson, who are fighting for that final playoff spot. And currently, with Michael Ramos there sitting in 17th here on track right now, right behind this great battle between Greenwell, Lakey, and Bivens. This is the battle for, I think that's essentially 14th. again, these guys all need to win to make their way into the playoffs at this point, but a 3-wide battle wouldn't hurt. Holy cow, the 84. Oh, please go 4-wide. Please go 4-wide, Michael Ramos. What a moment that would have been. He will not, but he will get Greenwell. He will get Lakey. And he almost got Markel and Bivens, who gets both guys in one move. So, battle for 14th is a fun one to watch, but for the time being, it's Bivens holding his own against Michael Ramos. Further up in the pack, though, it is Gary Moore, just ahead of John Graham, and ahead of him, Cale Zook. So these guys still on track, which means these guys have to be going for fuel, for the fuel strategy to try to conserve to the end, make it on a two-stopper. At this point, if you were confident you were going to have to pit, you would have pitted before, taken new tires, and try to make that stop early. So Connor Zook now coming down pit road, so the 55 truck making this final stop of the day, and he's got considerable front nose damage, so we will keep an eye on him. Nickerson now gets by Guzik. There's just so much going on. I don't know when Brett gave up all this time. I don't know if he's out of fuel or what, but he was 14 seconds clear of Nickerson when Nick left the pits, and now he finds himself in 6th. So, new provisional race leader, Nick Nickerson, and up front, it is Cale Zook, who now finds himself as the race leader. He's going to come down pit road. These guys aren't making it to the end. Yeah, Nick is your new race leader once again. Brett just, I think on his strategy, I think it was a good idea, but he's on 10-lap older tires. Now Ricky Hart's going to get him too. He tried it. I give Brett props, and again, he didn't need the points. He officially locked himself in on points prior to tonight's event, so I give him props for trying it, but now you see he's losing spots one after another. If I'm the 04 truck, just come down pit road now, try to conserve any points you possibly can. And Brandon's just going to drive off into the distance there in the 99, so up to the front as the leaders pit. Cale Zook and Gary Moore just coming off of pit road now. Actually, making good progress. Gary Moore is going to come out not top 3. At least he shouldn't. Going to go to the wide shot here. So they're in the background. There goes Jackson. There goes Hart. There goes Guzik. There comes Cody Welch. He's going to cycle out, I think, in 5th. So Gary Moore doing the overcut, taking a couple more laps. And it pays off. He's going to move up to 5th. Actually, well, here comes Cody Welch right as I say that. And Brett Guzik as well, who's still off the pace. Not sure for what reason, but whatever it is, Cody Welch, goodbye. The 85 truck just on rails right now. Cody Welch doing that typical late race comeback that he often does. Gets by Moore, but Gary Moore trying the overcut, making his way up to 5th. Strategically, it's been a great race for the 89 tonight. And he's had the pace to back it up, so I've been impressed with him overall. But here comes Tony Hilbrands. He's going to get him as well. It's got to be these guys on new tires who just save more sets of rubber for the end of the race. I think that's going to be crucial here to the end. Keep an eye on guys like Cody Welch who are making up consistent ground right now. And Cody is only 6 seconds back, so I don't want to jinx it again as we see Gary Moore dipping to the inside of Tony Hilbrands. But Cody Welch fans, be on watch, because if this pace continues, tonight could be the night for him. But further up in the field, it's Hart and Jackson battling for second position. Again, Nick is about 3.5 seconds clear of these guys for first. So the question is, who can get out of this battle as the winner? And then who can have the most pace there for that final stint? Cody Welch and Brandon Jackson pitted on almost the exact same lap that Nick did. So there's not going to be a considerable pace advantage on tires. Ricky's on 2-lap older tires than these guys behind him. So it's going to be crazy in these last 6 laps. But coming up to the line here for 5 to go is Nick Nickerson. So here at Pocono, he's done everything he's had to. Looking for, I think, win number 9 on the season. Could go for his 3rd of the round. And he is 5 laps away. Only 12.5 more miles separating that 2 truck from potentially one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen. I don't know if we've ever had a driver win 9 races in a single season in the Bandit Racing League, but Nick could be the first. John Graham's still on track here. He's pitted very recently, actually. Pitted on lap 63, so John Graham genuinely sitting in 8th now as he gets passed by Michael Ramos on the inside. Now he's going to duke it out with the 88 of Benny Hogan, but yeah, genuinely here under his own volition, and I give him very, very big props because it's been a great breakout drive really for the 96. Graham has had pace in the past, but tonight's just been a stellar performance for him. Would have been one that if he could keep up consistently throughout the year and he ran the full season, could have also been a threat for one of the later spots in the playoff order. But right now, he's going to try to hold off the 88. Mark Allen Bivens there. You see that green striping for that playoff number 76 truck. Well, I think unless he finds a way to get the win, maybe off a late caution, I think the playoff hopes for the number 76 truck are done. But what a season it's been. Mark Allen, just fight your way to the finish. Do whatever you can in this final event. And go out swinging, because what a year it's been for him from start to finish. One of the best performances we've seen all year. In my opinion, he's my pick for most improved driver this season. But down to the inside goes Benny Hogan, trying the move on John Graham, who does hold more pace around the outside. And that 96 truck he's He's looking great there when it comes to conserving pace in that top line. And a very valuable skill here for sure at Pocono. But the battle for fourth now. Not a battle for a podium spot. That would go to Hart and Jackson, who are battling in second and third. But it is a battle for a top 5 spot. And Cody Welch and Tony Hilbrands should both comfortably make it into the round of 8 here off their performances tonight. Again, Tony Hilbrand's tonight's race sponsor on behalf of Velocity Racing League. And again, thank you for sponsoring tonight's event. But yeah, they've both done everything they've had to. Haven't really been in contention for the proper race lead at any point so far throughout the night. But they have just been worth talking about. I'll say at the very minimum. Cody Welch has been all season, and Tony Hilbrands was pretty confident tonight he'd be quick at Pocono, so probably could have guessed that. But Cody Welch has had to fight back throughout the field. Remember, involved in an earlier wreck, came back from like 23rd in the grid, all the way up here to 4th. So he's earned his 4th, and so has Tony Hilbrand. So this battle is going to be a fun one to watch. But further up in the field, it's Jackson and Hart battling for second here. 2/10 separates those two trucks. The 99 and the 64. 64 truck 2 seasons ago was the champion, was Ricky Hart Jr. Brandon Jackson was a runner-up a couple seasons ago, I believe. So both guys with some considerable championship pedigree, and they are 3.5 seconds back of your current race leader. The 2 truck coming to 2 laps to go this time by. I genuinely don't know what to say anymore. I thought this was going to be the race. I hyped it up last week. It's going to be a competitive event. Pocono's a fun track, but he's just done it again. Like, Nick is just so darn flat out quick at these technical circuits. And okay, we'll get to him in a moment, but for the time being, Brandon Jackson has made up a considerable amount of ground on Ricky Hart this last time by. We're going to put up the lap time comparison here for that last time by the checkered flag for lap number 68. And just, look at how much quicker that number 99 truck was. I think those 2 extra laps on his current tires, or 2 less laps run than Ricky Hart, I think are going to make all the difference here at the end of the stint. So Brandon Jackson, I don't think he's finished second specifically in quite a while. Maybe not since, I think it might have been, what was the dirt track we ran early this season? Knoxville. I think it was since Knoxville. I don't think he's taken away a second, but well, wherever he finishes tonight, it's been a great drive for him. We'll talk about him more in just a moment. But further back here, Michael Ramos is still involved in the running here. Should punch his ticket to the playoffs with a 6th place performance here. White flag this time by. Nick just crossed the finish line for the final lap of the race. Mark Allen Bivens, though, does get the move done on Benny Hogan. And John Graham still trying to hold on to his season best performance of 8th. He is going to have to fight a playoff driver to do so. Remember, Gary Moore sitting in 7th there. He's had a great race overall. Tony Hilbrand still not too far back at Cody Welch. Could make a late move. But this will be the battle to watch. Brandon Jackson, Ricky Hart. 2 more corners to go. Up to turn number 2. The 99 truck defending. The 64 truck on the attack. One more time by through turn 2. Better run for the 99. 64 gets a little bit looser. Does have to avoid the outside wall. Loses a little bit of ground there off of turn number 2. But Jackson doing everything he has to. Should get him to the line. But off of turn number 3. The season continues. Defending champion. 9 wins. And he conquers the tricky triangle. Who can stop this man? Nick Nickerson wins at Pocono. And the battle for second concludes. Brandon Jackson holds off Ricky Hart. Cody Welch holds off Tony Hilbrands. Michael Ramos. John Graham then in 7th. Great run for both of those guys. Mark Allen almost pips him at the line there. So close. Benny Hogan comes home for 9th. Matt Crockett home for 10th. And I'm pretty confident with the way these positions have shaken out that I can give you guys a pretty definitive result here for the playoffs. But we'll do that in just a quick moment here. For now, I genuinely don't know what to say. I'm curious to see if Nick will do what he did last week again and send us off to somebody else to interview. But I think tonight I got a couple questions I want to ask him about the next round, because 3 wins in 4 races. Just, I'm genuinely speechless. I don't know what to say. What a driver, man. Nick is truly, in my time on iRacing, one of the most consistent, incredible talents I've ever seen, and does it again tonight. Your race winner at Pocono, 9th of the season. Just, man, there are the burnouts. Congratulations, Nick. Let's get him up on screen. Gotta do the man some justice. Where is Nick? Actually, isn't on Skype, so we'll see if he comes up in just a moment here. But there's your beautiful burnout. The 2 truck celebrating in a very well-deserved fashion. Here's Brandon Jackson, who we can show, who is not the race winner at Pocono. That's just a general graphic. Where's Brandon's face? Let's put him up for a quick moment. See how he's feeling. He's looking more positive than he was a moment ago, which is good to see. Finishing second in a very tough, very competitive race at Pocono will do that for you. But there he is, Brandon Jackson. what a night it's been. Just looks tired, honestly, but looks quite relieved. So we'll get to him in just a moment, but you know what time it is. Race winner, Nick Nickerson. It's his 9th interview of the season, or ninth first place interview of the season. He's actually gone off track. He's broken the cardinal rule here, but hopefully he hops onto Skype and we can get his personal camera up for the interview. But whatever we do for it, it is now time to talk to Nick Nickerson, your race winner tonight here at Pocono for the Where's Turn 470, presented by keep going to call it Virtual Racing League. It is Velocity Racing League, and be sure to check them out if you're a driver looking for a really fun series and a 36 race calendar that mimics the NASCAR series in 2022. Okay, it is time to pull Nick Nickerson into the broadcast booth. Let's just get everything set up momentarily. And again, unfortunately, we don't appear to have Nick on camera right now. We'll see if he pops up in just a moment. Because we want to see our race winner's beautiful face here. Where is he? No, still not on Skype, so... Okay, well, for whatever reason, we do not have Nick's camera at the moment, but we also don't have his truck. So we'll work it out. We'll get things figured out here, but whatever we do, your first interview of the night tonight, momentarily here, with your race winner, Nick Nickerson. Just got to find the guy, who I believe is actually madly scrambling to do points calculations as we speak. That might be the real reason he's not on Skype, so just a moment we'll get that figured out, but I'm pretty confident I can do the math in the background for it. But here we go, in the broadcast booth, your race winner. Nick, you got a copy?
How's it going, man?
Nick, you just sound sad now. You know, it's
I'm a little sad because I did my burnout and then it just disqualified me from the race. Apparently not everybody finished the race.
wait, so okay, well, you're still classified as first.
Yeah.
That's fine. I do like the idea that you celebrated so hard that even the game disqualified you. But
Right.
but yeah, no worries. It's you just don't have your truck. But we showed it enough tonight, and gosh, I'd imagine people have seen it plenty this season. Race winner again at Pocono. What's that, 9 on the season now? Like, I try to hype it up, you know. I try to make it seem fun, you know. Pocono tonight I thought was genuinely going to be a really competitive race, and in a lot of ways it was. I think from start to finish, you had a couple restarts there late that made it tough. So, and a track like Pocono, so long, such a long lap, and so many long straights. What's the defensive style? Is it a lot of weaving around, and how were you able to break away from the pack so easily tonight?
Man, honestly, I didn't really do anything. Sorry, I don't have my camera plugged in, but I didn't really do anything out of order. I was just, throwing down the smoothest laps I could, and nobody could get up to me and try to make it pass, so I couldn't learn like how to defend or be offensive, because really, I just never really was had the opportunity. So I was just kind of going up there, got tires, and just maybe not try to throw the fastest lap I could, but just like the smoothest laps to kind of keep the tires under me. And it was kind of a little hectic at the end there. I wasn't sure what was going to go on with fuel strategy and whatnot, but I once again, it played in my favor, I guess.
It did indeed. That was another stellar drive. Like you were nailing it through the corners. You had just the best flat out pace of anybody. We saw that on those later stints. Even on older tires, you were keeping up with those guys who had just pitted. So it played to your strengths. Tonight was another typical Nick Nickerson drive. But the fun part now is that with the round over, next week matters for you again. You won 3 races in the round of I guess 19 in this case, but only that first one at New Hampshire counted. So as we head into next round, it's Eldora, Darlington, Myrtle Beach, and it's going to be nuts. I know Darlington is a track that in the past, if I remember correctly, you've been good at, but of course the dirt track and a short track at Myrtle Beach. Is any part of you more scared for the round of 8 than you were for this round?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to Eldora. That's kind of a fun little deal. As long as you're out front, it should be all right. We'll see. Try not to make any crazy maneuvers to take myself out like at Knoxville. And then Darlington's just another good old-fashioned racetrack, man. That track is so much fun because it's very difficult to get like the fast line, or I should say like a regular line and like the fast line or lap, I guess you want to say. Mm-hmm. It's so different. Like, it's so hard to get that super fast line. It's easy to get like just a lap around, but to get that fast line, it's so hard, but it's so rewarding. And I think that's where we're going to start seeing like those that can drive and those that can't will really separate. You'll probably see 2 packs kind of separate. That's what I think anyways, because just the way that you have to drive Darlington, like kind of diamond it out of 2 or 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 is just kind of like riding around the top, and
Right.
then maybe drop down or just kind of ride the wall around. And those that don't touch the wall are gonna, reign supreme at the end. And then Myrtle Beach, I mean, who knows what's gonna happen there, man? I think everybody's gonna be fighting for positions like no other for Eldora and Darlington because they're afraid of what's gonna happen in Myrtle Beach. Guarantee it.
Right. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Darlington, I've heard, is a driver's racetrack for sure, and Myrtle Beach, we've seen short tracks this season. I don't blame drivers for trying to get their points out of the way. I know if there's any track that'd be worrying me if I were in the playoffs, that would be the one that you kind of cross off your calendar. Similar to Talladega in the final round, you're just like, okay, we'll see what happens. We'll do our best, but you never really know with the short tracks. But again, just 9 wins on the season. It has to be asked compared to last year where it was already a competitive series. You had guys like towards the end of the season, Davey Hendricks were given obviously a trouble. Cody was just as stellar last season as he has been this season. Brandon was taking wins off you. But, coming the season into the trucks, you had 8 wins all of last year, including the finale. Not the finale, but you know what I mean, by the end of the season.
Yep.
But yeah, you got 9 to this point in the series right now. We're not even into the round of 8. Like, is it something with the trucks you've liked more? Do you think you kind of figured out a couple of drivers? Like, just what is it that we didn't do we didn't give you credit for last year that you're doing now?
I mean, it could be just I'm growing myself, just that kind of pushing it that a little bit farther. We started really dabbling with telemetry as a league, and when you start messing with telemetry, you really start picking out the things that are not so obvious they need to fix in driving. Like for me, if we were to talk in any race last year, and I'm sure I mentioned it many of times, I always talked about how I was terrible with saving tires. I can throw down a hell of a lap on fresh tires, but I can never get them to last long. And now I feel like I can save tires with the best of them. I figured that out, and that was a crucial step in my own growing as a driver in iRacing. And but other than that, I had a rough start to this season, man. I think crashed out Daytona, crashed out in Homestead.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got like a decent finish the race after that, whatever it was, and then after that, I was able to just find what I needed to finish these races, and here I am.
Yeah, I got to be honest. At the start of the season, I was really excited. We had a storyline brewing with the defending champion going through a slump, but thank you for immediately knocking that down about 9 weeks out of 12. So it's just been an incredible season. Like, people in the chat are giving you props for it. Just the consistency week in and week out. You can look at it cynically and say, oh, the same guys winning every week, but it's genuinely just impressive racing. It's not luck. You're earning these each and every week in and out, and guys have just as much time to practice between races as you do. So there's no excuses that people can make. It's just an impressive work all the way through. And I know next round's going to be harder. I know Talladega and Charlotte are going to be 2 very competitive tracks against the 3 other best drivers in the series, provided you make the round of 4. But I'm always going to be confident in you, and just what a season it's been for you. So you know what to do here. It's the first interview of the race this week. I thought it was really cool what you did last week for Steve, but tonight we had a couple questions we wanted to ask you about the playoffs. But now's your time. You know the deal.
Yeah, man.
Shout outs, anything you want to talk about, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Got to thank the guys at Big Red for Pain for sponsoring the GFR. Kevin and I's team, man. It's a blast. And Perfect Shine Auto Spa and TechNet. Gotta appreciate them for our associate sponsors. And man, everybody that races this league. And Bill, Matt, for all they do. And everybody watching out there. I know everybody's sick of listening to me and sick of me winning, but I just go out there and do my best. And then eventually these guys will catch up, And then my telemetry is out there for anybody to start studying. So, and Marcel, appreciate the broadcasting, man. You do such an awesome job, even without Evan.
really appreciate it. It's no Evan tonight, but hopefully for next week we got some things in the works as a backup. So it'll be
awesome,
fun. I'll have some help, but no, really appreciate it, Nick. And yeah, you give it 100% every week. You can just you can tell, and I hope that you're not taking too much time out of your day-to-day life just to come here and win 3 races in 1 round. But we love your 100%. We just wish sometimes you'd give it about 90, 98, something like that. Just bump a couple ticks off of it. But
hey, crazy round of 8, man. Anything can happen. I mean, I'm not personally, to not give my own hopes up, I don't expect to make the Final 4. If I do, great. But I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be in the Final 4, no problem, because you never know what's going to happen, man.
You know,
I
I
mean,
appreciate that you are more pessimistic about your season than anybody else watching, but no,
yeah,
so we'll see what you can do. I think you got a good point, but
yeah.
you'll
I mean, it could come down to fuel, man. I could just pit on the wrong strategy, and here I am. Like, well, look at what happened to Dover.
yeah,
I finished 17th because I pit, got stuck a lap down. That was it. It
yeah,
could happen. Could happen to anybody.
yeah, very true. Yeah, you did finish 17th at Dover. It's been a pretty rough round for you, but
Yeah.
that being said, congratulations, Nick, ninth of the season. We'll see you next week, and 10 just has a nice ring to it. So I wish you best of luck on the dirt, and we'll see you next week at Eldora.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Take care.
Take care. As always, a pleasure to talk to Nick Nickerson, and win number 9 on the year. Just what a season. I can't get over it. I can't understand how he does it. I talk to people about this series, talk to my roommates about it. I talk to just people in day-to-day life about this series. Got people that watch every once in a while. Shout out to Scott Norman watching, a guy from my karting side of things, and he's a longtime supporter of the series, so shout out to him as well. But yeah, I talk to people about the series, and I say, you know what? I feel like this is the week. This is the week somebody else will figure it out. And they have that same optimism, and just, man. You never know. Next week on the dirt, I promise you guys, it'll be a fun race. It's like a heat race format. Things are going to be nuts. And if there's any race in the past 10 that we could see a new winner at, I assure you it'll be Eldora. But time for your second interview of the night here at Pocono with Action Jackson himself. This will be a fun one. Just 2 seconds. Here we go. Second interview of the night. Brandon Jackson. Let's get him in the booth, and I feel like he is going to have some stories to tell there after the kind of night he had. Brandon Jackson, it is Marshall Crocker up in the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy?
Hey, Marshall, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Brandon, nice driving there, man. That was just a stellar all-around performance. And before we get to your racing, we got to talk about it. It was probably the most fun thing to watch, and you certainly got the better of it in the end. Kind of talk us through that whole thing with Curtis there.
Really the first incident I think we've had all season, and he cut my. I mean, he didn't even cut my nose off. He sawed my front nose off out of turn 1, and then he popped me down the front straightaway right after the start finish line. At some point, you just get tired of it. I didn't wreck him, so we'll just have to see what race control decides about that. But I didn't wreck him. I gave him a door check, and I ended up getting the better part of it. So it is what it is. I mean, you can only do something so much within one lap before the other driver gets fed up with it. So that's how it is. There's always two sides to the story. So I'm gonna just let it be as is. If I had a virtual helmet, I probably would have thrown it at him. Maybe give him the finger out the window. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I think, yeah, you made a very good point. This is really the first incident we've seen between you guys all season. We're like 20 races in, and both of you guys have generally, I've said all season, been much more patient drivers, and not so much prescribing to the style of racing that caused all those incidents last year, but certainly interesting to watch again. But yeah, like I said, you definitely got the better of that exchange in the end, and you come home for second. And overall, all the way through, you just had great pace on the long runs. You went for that alternative pit strategy that I don't know if you were trying for the two-stop that I think some guys were definitely going for, but didn't work out in the end, or whatever it was. But you were great there in the long runs, and it's something you've been good at in the past. So is Pocono kind of a track that suits your style, and were you maybe going for that two-stop strategy if it was going to come to you?
No. So when that first caution came out about like lap 5, I decided I was going to top off for fuel, and it was only like 6-7 of us that decided to do that. And from that point on, just trying to do the math in the head on how many laps we could go in the green, I figured, hell, why not just run or dry, see what happens? And then that caution almost played into our favor, but I really would have liked it if it stayed green. I think if we would have went green all the way to the end after that first caution, it would have just, the wind probably would have just fell right in my lap. But you never know. Things happen. So it's always a if this, if that. But I didn't even think about two-stop strategy. That was completely out of my mind. We had to pit way too many times for that, for fuel. So, other than that, man, I felt really good on the long runs. I've always been pretty decent here on the long runs. Because once you get guys that are in dirty air or in clean air, once you can kind of get to them and get around them, then they get that dirty air and they haven't been running in it. It's gonna affect them, and they're not gonna. Sometimes guys are ready to expect it, but others aren't. So it is what it is. I was also driving with a bit of urgency because of the point situation. Um, I don't know if I got her done tonight or not. It's going to be very close to see, but um, whether or not I gave her all I had tonight, so that's all I can really say.
Well, Brandon, I don't mean to be the guy who has to tell you this, but unfortunately, I believe you have missed the playoffs, the round of 8, by about 2 or 3 points to Michael Ramos. It was darn close, but if my math, which I believe is correct, then you would, you would be. Oh, I might have the official results. No, I got somebody sent me an old copy of the old points, so I thank you for that. I don't know why that helps, but no, I believe you were just a couple points short of Michael Ramos. But Brandon, it has been a stellar season overall. You know, you had your wins, man. You had that great finish there at Knoxville that could have come very close to yet another one. We know you've had some trouble this season. You've been kind of similar to Tony. You know, had just some terrible luck in some races, finding yourself in wrecks late when you've been quick throughout the rest of the race. But this season, I know you didn't like the trucks, but how would you sum up your entire season in the 99 truck up to this point? You know, you still got 5 more races in the tracks that I think you can definitely compete at in that 5 races. But just how do you sum up your season to this point?
It's been a hell of a run. Not really like the trucks, and then just almost just kind of just got used to, or not used, but just understanding what you got to do on them. It's it was a frustrating season. It was very frustrating, but overall, I did pretty good. What just not enough luck this season compared to my last season to this point, and just not just not good luck and not positioning myself better. It's what it came down to. I put myself back there 10, 12 on back, and you're at the mercy of the rest of the guys around you. Not saying anybody's bad, but when you race the trucks, you're gonna be a lot more packed together, and being packed together causes a lot more wrecks and accidents. So, um, like I said, it's got to do a better job of getting myself in a lot better position. And if I find myself back there, got to do a lot better job of getting through the mess without getting caught up in the mess. So, but it is what it is. Some told me it's gonna be, if I could get out of round 1, I'll be nice, but it's like I'm probably not gonna get out of round 1. So we'll head back to the shop, take the green spoiler and split her off, and hell, we'll figure out what we gotta do for the rest of the season.
Well, Brandon, I may have had you in my final 4, and I stand by that. I stand by that being a good pick, but I did not come this far just to see you quit now that you're out of the playoffs. I know you're going to be good at Darlington. I know the dirt. Nobody seems to like the dirt, but you finished second at Knoxville. We go to Myrtle Beach. You're darn fast at the short tracks. How that race is going to go is beyond me. If we get 25 cautions, that'd be a little low in my estimation, but whatever happens, man, I know you're going to have fun doing it, and I expect to win to round off the season. This better not be the end of the 99 truck competing for wins. And you did come 3.5 seconds away from the round of 8, to be fair. You know, as you said, had that last stint gone a little bit differently, it might have been the first interview of the night, and we'd be in a slightly more positive tone. But it's been so much fun watching it this season, Brandon, and for how pessimistic you were coming in about the trucks, I think you did everything you possibly could. So keep your head high and reset for next year. We're back to the Xfinity cars for season 10, so back to something you're a little bit more in tune with, and knowing your style of driving, seeing how you've improved over this season in terms of patience. And again, the luck hasn't been coming to you, but I think you're a much safer driver than you were 25 short races ago. So just a close knockout for the round of 4 last season. Wouldn't be surprised if you're our champion next season. So that's my spiel, Brandon. I got to be honest, you're one of my favorites, and I know that's true of everybody out there. So I'm very sorry you couldn't make it, but this is the part, not just for tonight, but for the whole season up to this point. If you got any shout outs you want to give to anybody at home, anything you want to talk about, sponsors, whatever it is, now's your time.
Just gotta thank everybody that runs in the league, all the admins that do the behind the scene work. just tough luck, man. Gotta thank Evan. Happy birthday, Evan
Woo!
Wall, you crazy mother. Anyway, gotta thank him for making the beautiful race truck. Sadly, we gotta take the green off of it, so that's just how some racing goes. But gotta thank you for broadcasting. Everybody that's in chat, man. Everybody that comes and watches my streams, especially that one certain driver. I know you went back to check my stream. And I thank you for the click. So, you know, just not enough luck, man. Not enough luck. You know, so it is what it is. On to the next one. Hell, you got to talk to somebody who's in the playoffs that finished right behind me that I passed. So go ahead and talk to somebody who's more important, has a higher status than I do.
No, we're talking to the guy that you just barely lost to at the playoffs, Michael Ramos. We love you, Brandon. We love you. You came so darn close, and you beat the guy that pips you for the playoffs. So if anything, you can at least say that. But man, it's been so much fun. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And make sure this isn't the last time we talk to you this season, okay?
Yes, sir. Hopefully it won't be. I'll still be here. Y'all know me. I'm gonna race hard. But maybe we done restarted something from last year. It's always fun.
Oh man. Well, that'll be a worthy storyline to round off the season, regardless. So I'm sure we'll see plenty more of you. The question is whether it's looking the right way on track. But whatever it is, have a great rest of your season, Brandon. And again, congratulations tonight on second place and doing everything you possibly could.
Thank y'all. Everybody in chat, y'all have a good night.
Always a pleasure to talk to Mr. Brandon Jackson. Again, one of my personal favorites. Just, again, brings an energy and a positivity to the series that I think is unmatched and so darn close. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for him, but we'll go over in a moment your official playoff standings. Very similar to coming in. Nobody really dropped all that far back enough to lose their spot. So Brandon does stay in, though it was very close. Kevin Foster actually almost, I think, dropped out. So Michael Ramos might not actually be the final seed after all, as he was coming in. But yeah, we'll go to that in just a moment. But I did get a message, so we will not be interviewing Ricky Hart tonight. Just he's very tired, and I do not blame him in the slightest. It was a long race, and I'm sure it's been a long week for a lot of the guys. So instead of that, for your final interview of the night, we're going to go to the final playoff driver, making it into the round of 8, and a guy who finished in 6th tonight. So still a very good performance, still very worthy of talking to him, Mr. Michael Ramos. So he'll be your final interview of the night. Let me just get his information up. Here we go. Let's get his name card up here. We'll bring him in the booth. He's not still on track, and I don't believe he's on Skype. So we'll just throw him up here. No, we'll just throw him up in the generic background. Why not? Throw it up here. I haven't done this format in a while, but we'll put him in the booth and do an interview with a guy who just barely advances into the round of 8. But what a spirited run it's been for Michael Ramos all throughout this round. It'll be great to talk to him. Just a moment. Oh, we've got Nick in the broadcast booth. How's it going, Nick?
Oh, hey, man. I was just going to give you the results of who's moving on to the round of 8.
Sounds good. You know, let's do the official presentation. So.
Okay. So, as of right now, which I believe all the points and provisionals are in, it is myself, Nick Nickerson, Cody Welch, Brett Guzik, Ricky Hart Jr., Tony Hildebrands, Kevin Foster, and Michael Ramos, and then Benjamin Lacy.
There you go. Yeah, Benjamin was not able to make it tonight, but again, he got that win at Dover to punch himself in. Yeah, Michael just barely pips out Brandon, I believe, by how many points, Nick? Like 3 or 4?
I'm sorry. What's the question again?
How close did Michael come to Brandon there?
Ooh, let's see. About 4 points.
Yeah, so it was darn close there. I'm sure, Nick, you're very glad that you were well out of the vicinity of those trucks and didn't have to do much sweating tonight. But thank you, awesome, good to know. Yeah. That was kind of the assumption, but good to have it confirmed before we make it official. So thank you.
Yeah, cool, man. I'll let you get back to the interviews.
Yeah, sounds good. But just a reminder, everybody, Nick also does the points, so he's more than just a pretty face.
And I don't cheat, promise.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, take care.
There you go. So. Yeah, sorry, just a quick pause there. So I forget the exact ordering, but we'll go through the drivers. So Nick Nickerson advances to the round of 8. So does Ricky Hart Jr., Cody Welch, the man looking for a win. Tony Hildebrands, the guy who had a great first round. Michael Ramos clutches it out in the end, comes home 6th tonight, and makes his way into the round of 8. Then it is, who else on this list? Kevin Foster makes it in, just barely. It was darn close. And Brett Guzik is your final driver in tonight's order that makes it into the round of 8. Again, remember that Benjamin Lacy, who did win at Dover, did not race tonight, but he was punched in on a win. He did not have to. So with that being said, back to your final interview of the night tonight with Michael Ramos. Started in 4th position. That's all his info you need, and we'll get him in the broadcast booth for your final interview of the night. Hey, Michael, it's Marshall up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how's it going, Marshall?
Oh, it's going quite well, and well, I want to be the first to congratulate you, although you're in the group chat there, so I'm sure you've heard it already. But congratulations, Michael! You are officially in the round of 8. You are the final entrant, though. You and Kevin were quite close for that 7th spot as well. But the 27 truck makes his way in. We heard all season whenever we interviewed drivers like Nick. I think Ricky gave you credit as well when we asked people, who's the guy to watch out for? Who's your dark horse pick for the round of 8? You were the guy they threw out there every single time, and I think had you made more races in the regular season, you might have been even more on our radars. But you're somebody that I don't think we give enough credit to. So to this point in the season, do you just want to kind of give us an overall recap of how your regular season went, and then what worked so well for you here in the round of 8 to make it through?
Yeah, I think even if we go back to the first season that I started running with Bandit when we were running the Xfinity cars the season before this, work schedule kind of took over, and we didn't show up for very many of the races just due to the fact that, the schedule. But definitely on this season, we had a lot more participation than last season. And I don't know, it just kind of worked out this season. I managed to stay at the front, then stay away from the wrecks. I think at the first season I was with Bandit, I kind of stayed in the back, just trying to learn how each driver was. And then this season, I was like, okay, it's better to stay in the front. So we just made sure we qualied each lap, had good spotters, and we just stayed up front majority of the time. We almost gave it away on this race, though.
I was going to say, thinking about tonight specifically, first of all, how cognizant were you of the points heading into tonight? Like, were you very aware of your situation? And as a driver, knowing your situation, knowing the guys you need to be beating, knowing how many points you need to advance, how tough is it to kind of balance that mindset, but also stay focused on the race at hand?
I think with the motto of the league, just having fun and hanging out with friends and family, I wasn't terribly too worried about it. We had a very bad last 2 races. Dover got spun towards the end of the race, and then I think last lap on Watkins Glen, just bad spot at the wrong time. But it brought me coming into this race. I knew that trying to beat Kevin Foster and Connor Sawyer, and while trying to stay ahead of Brandon Jackson and Curtis Yancey was just going to be difficult. But the strategy on this one was to not worry about the points and just drive the car, hit my marks, and try to stay up front as much as possible. But like I said, we almost gave it away. We actually came into pits and screwed up the tires. We didn't put tires on the car. And luckily, we went back out, had 3 laps, and one of the yellows, one of the cautions came out. We were able to go back in and grab tires and fuel. And that's where we were able to stay out till the end of the race.
Right. Well, with the drives you've been putting on all throughout the round of, I guess, 18, I should say, with the performances you've been putting on all round, you deserved a little bit of good luck there to help you out. And I know the caution certainly helped a number of drivers as well. But there you go. You are in round of 8. Officially, statistically, you are one of the 8 best drivers in the series right now. And well, now's the question. 3 more races to go. We got Eldora, Darlington, and Myrtle Beach, a dirt, a 1.5 miles, and a short track. You feeling good about the round of 8? Could you find yourself as one of the final 4 guys left this season?
I don't know. I'll give it my best, but Eldora's not my cup of tea. We know that Darlington is a good track for me, and then I've never been good at short tracks. You guys know that.
Well, hey, you're always a win away in this playoff format. So if you do well at Darlington, you come away with a win. You've always been quick in qualifying at the tracks, so the intermediate tracks of that sort of length. So you just carry that over into the race and you pick up a win at Darlington. Well, just like that, you're in the round of 4. So I'm not counting you out by any means, Michael. It's great to see you in here, and there's certainly some guys who have had more, I guess, statistically all around seasons. But again, just because you didn't make quite as many races as a couple guys, but. In my books, you're a guy to watch out for. So you got to justify that. We'll be sure to give you your fair share of attention there in the round of 8. But now's your opportunity. I don't think we've done it yet this season. I think might have a podium to this point. Is that correct?
Yeah, I got a podium because they wrecked on Texas.
Yes. Oh, that finish was fun. Yeah, that's a fun one to have the podium for. But yeah, so you've done this before, you know the deal. But you have any shout outs you want to give to friends and family at home for making it into the playoffs? Any sponsors, anything like that? Now's your time.
Yeah, no sponsors besides the Army, but definitely a shout out to my wife Victoria, who's always downstairs watching as I'm up here hooting and hollering. But get a shout out to my buddy David Lakey, Chris and Charles, and Brett Guzik for kind of got a team thing going on here. And then a shout out to just everybody at race. It was a good race towards the end there for the points. So shout out Curtis Yancey, Connor Sawyer, Brandon Jackson, and what was the other one? Kevin Foster. And it was great racing, and looking forward to the next 3 races, and then we get to go back to Xfinity cars.
We do indeed. And I know a lot of guys are looking forward to that. So, well, for the round of 8, I wish you the very best of luck, Michael. Go give him heck and see what you can do. Again, don't count yourself out and just go in with the mindset you'll make the round of 4. And if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, well, I know you'll still be fighting at Talladega and Charlotte. So it was great to get a chance to talk to you. Great run tonight at Pocono. Did everything you had to do. And I know you don't like it, but we'll see you next week at the Dirt. We'll see what you can do.
All right, man. Catch you later.
See ya. And there you go. Your final interview of the night tonight with Mr. Michael Ramos. Your final guy moving on to the round of 8. So unfortunately, we won't have the graphic ready tonight because our very own Evan Wall, again, happy birthday, is the guy who does those. So we won't have that graphic ready until next week, but it'll be posted on Instagram. So if you want to see the official points scenario heading into the round of 8, again, all the points reset. So Nick, I wish you, I say congratulations to your 3 wins in the round of 18. A little bit overkill, but we all have our own styles in life. But he's on even playing field going back into the round of 8. So anybody has a shot next week at Eldora, and oh man, dirt track. Just get ready. I promise you. You guys do not understand, if you don't look at our Discord, how much people despise dirt in this series. And it's going to be a fun aspect of next week, but I promise you, it's going to be a nutty race for playoff implications. Guys are going to come out of that race that will probably even themselves be surprised they did that well. So it's going to be a fun race, heat-style format. Hopefully we'll have Evan Wall Media on this side. Happy birthday, 21. Woo! Hopefully we have him back for next week, but if not, like I said, we got some stuff in the works. We will at minimum have somebody alongside me in the broadcast booth for next week, and that is always a relief when you are a solo broadcaster. So we will get things figured out. But again, thank you to everybody for watching as always. There at the top is the final results. Once again, if you want to see where somebody finished, I see John Graham's name again. Great run for him tonight, finishing in 7th. So it was a pleasure to watch him do his thing. But there you go. We'll finish up scrolling through. And just to clarify, the 55 is Connor Zook, the 07 is Andrew Zook, and the 44 is Kale Zook, who I believe is the best finishing Zook of the 3 tonight. I saw a question in the chat about it. But other than that, I want to once again thank our sponsors. So Tony Hilbrands, driver the number 92, makes the playoffs, finishing in 5th tonight. So congrats to the number 92. Said he'd be good at Pocono, and he was indeed. But also for tonight's sponsor on behalf of Velocity Racing League. So again, if you're a NASCAR driver, you want some series that runs a variety of different disciplines, super speedways, intermediates, short tracks, anything like that, road courses, whatever it may be. Go check it out. There's some great stuff going on over there. They're running the ARCA cars next year, which are relatively beginner friendly, but certainly still fun. Have enough competition that they're fun to watch. So go check them out if you're an aspiring racing driver. They race on Monday nights starting next season. So go check them out. We'll put the schedule up one more time here. There you go. So there's the schedule for the 2020 VRL Cup Series season. And again, drivers like Aaron Smith, Tony Hilbrands, and even from time to time Nick Nickerson all feature in that series. And it's a largely different crowd, but we will see in the future if they get a broadcast as well. We'll put it up here some week and be sure to shout that out. But with that, we are about ready to sign off. So again, I also want to plug the merch as well. So Bandit Racing League merch, I talked about it earlier. Go check it out. I'm just gonna wear it backwards next week. I'm just gonna put the big logo on the front and just flip the shirt around because got to show it off. And yeah, I think I'm probably gonna get another orange shirt with the logo on the front. But I also got to get myself some Bandit Racing League stuff, including that cool roster t-shirt with all the names of all the drivers in the series for 2021 on the back. So go check it out. Bandit Racing League merch. Instagram, Bandit Racing League. It's what we are. I think it was Bandit Racing League official before. Now I think we're just Bandit Racing League. So go check it out. Cool stuff there all the time. Christopher's always keeping up and posting stuff and keeping updated about every race. And he posts the graphics we get for things like the points updates and stuff like that before anybody else. So with that, it's time to sign off here for the Where's Turn 4 70 at Pocono. We never did find Turn 4, did we? The turn 4 was the friends we made along the way, and also the fourth turn for Nick was the fourth turn he took, and it was burnout there at the very end. So interpret it how you want, but whatever it is, hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I can't wait for next week's start to the round of 8 there at the dirt track at Eldora. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next week. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. And